Come on. I don't know. Stop kicking your nuts. Stop. You're doing weird stuff. The spine is getting mangled right now. So that's all I'm saying. Just chest to the sun, relax a little bit, and finally relax the jaw going. Now breathe in really deep. Go. Breathe out with your tongue out through the drag in the breath and go. How many push-ups can I do in one set? All of them. It's an impressive feat I've accomplished. I've been doing push-ups for a long time. That's why I've moved into bicep curls. So now, after, years of push-ups and, everything, it adds up, bro. I need sit-ups, honestly. That's it. I need my 19-pack to form. And then I'm doing resistances right now because you need the back, too. That's the thing. I got baby back muscles. It's getting a lot better, but it's still not, it's not what it should be. Who did you challenge on stream one time in push-ups? I think we had. Did I challenge anybody? I thought we had another challenge. Oh, wait, I think I did. I forgot. And then, I don't know. I think we had a lending tips challenge, too. This is good, though. This is good. Just move around a little bit. Again, if you haven't been sitting down, you get a pass. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. Because I know, you'll be like, why is it now? But go at your own pace. Go at your own pace. The hold your arms up challenge. We've had a lot of different challenges. We had a lot of different ones, man. That's it. And Mosby, what's up, baby? I finally got to see bro, I got to listen back, Mosby. I feel bad, bro. I don't know how the co-real estate boys kind of jacked you on Friday, dog. I feel bad. I listening back, bro. I love co-real estate. Shout out to Tyler and Trey. But y'all know I did not set that up like that. That was not meant to be like, that's it, bro. They just straight got on, bro. And that's it. It was like, bro, it was like 15 minutes. They got you, Mosby. I was like, Mosby, this was your job interview and you turned it into co-real estate. I was trying to have him I was trying to see what was up, bro. So, but it was a lot of fun. Friday, I think this Friday too. Maybe that's it. Make a video. If you want to host this Friday, make me an interview video and tag me so I can see it. That's it. If I get enough interview video, I say I'm down, bro. If one of you wants to run, I'll give you 30 minutes on Friday. He did open it up with "I am the captain." Now, that is how he started off. He was just, That's what he did. I'm down for it. Let's go. I want to see it. I want to see it. Foreshadow of things to come. No, I had a lot of fun with it on Friday. I was having a lot of fun on Friday. What's it? Once we do, you not remember that debate? Stop. Oh, I just beat the shit out of them. That was a harder than average. I'm sorry, microphone. I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, bro, no, the Friday thing, it was great. The debate, that's why. So I kept going, bro. I just kept going. We kept the Zoom running. That's it. Until the chat is not good, I will keep running it up. That's usually how it is. You know what I'm saying? It was holiday vibes and just I like momentum. I'm out of here. Thanks, YouTube bandwidth. That's it. They cut us off, bro. They cut us off. Twitch was up the whole time. Look at no issues. No Twitch. Uninterrupted. That's it, man. Twitch is always up. It's sad. But it worked. It was very, very good. Jeff Bezos figured out the streaming. He figured out how to do it. Charadonia. Yeah, I was saying I like the momentum with the Chads. I like when, we get Chads on the Zoom. It's all good. That debate was beautiful. That's how it is. So I like that positive momentum. I had a lot of fun on Friday. chat is blocked on your computer for some reason. That's weird. That I've heard for people at work. I've heard that you can't watch stock market live at your job. That is frowned upon. Unless your boss is chill. And then AMD's still up again. We just had that Goldman Sachs event. Wasn't too crazy. Oracle on the high again. Oh, that thing's up 2.7. We saw that one early in the morning. They're kind of a slow mover. That one's still going. I'm the IT staff at my office. Stock market live flows. Amen. Hey, man, tell up. There's less of delay on Twitch too. I thought Twitch had more of a delay, but then the quality was a lot better. So I know Twitch quality, like audio and video, is so much different than YouTube. It's insane. Bro, Tesla, another high, 256. Tesla's up 4.7. Remember, last week was the week of like 7 and 8% days on Tesla, but like it's doing it again. I've talked about it all day today, just in context of how Tesla is like either market's been red and they've been up, but dude, it's doing another $11 day. Market is barely unchanged. They're down 0.15. NASDAQ barely green, but like, dude, look at this. That's it. That's crazy. And then AMD still moving. Melly, wasn't that one from, or no, was that the other one? That was MDB. That was the earnings from last week. Grateful for your remote work. They let you watch it. Amen. Amen. It's disgusting. Tesla. So I don't know. Something could be happening. I think it's related to the price. Remember, like, it's not like Tesla has been without news. They had the German factory. They had price cut news. I mean, you're seeing Tesla. You're seeing Cybertrucks everywhere. I don't know. Have you guys seen that? You guys know that's like, I feel like lately, oh yeah, the new Model 3 as well, plus the price cut. I forgot. They've been coming up with like, it's not like they've had a lot. It's not like they've had a lack of news, more or less. But dude, have you guys been seeing the Cybertrucks? I've been seeing them everywhere now. Not in real life, but like on social media. You're starting to see more of a Cybertruck in the real world than like any other time in the last 3 years. Yeah, I keep seeing the clips. There's a lot, but I'm still kind of like, wow. Like, it does not matter. Damn, Celsius still going up too? But it does not matter what. Tesla is just like, it's running big on these days. I don't know. So I have my order for the Cybertruck. I think it looks really cool. Like, again, I'm the only electric vehicle I'm probably ever going to purchase will be a Tesla. But it's like, I'm going to get a Cybertruck. But like, I keep seeing these clips and like, yeah, man, that shit look ugly as hell. I don't know any other way to put this for you, man. You know, I don't know any other way to put it to you, man. Like, dude, the Cybertruck is ugly as hell. I have mine order. I'm going to get it. I'm going to hope it grows on me. Maybe I'll, like, paint it another color or something. But, like, after seeing, like, 5 of these clips, no, bro. I saw the side view of it, dude. It looked ugly. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just not, like, I don't know. It, like, remind me of, like, those Balenciaga shoes that some people wear. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just, like, big, clunky. I'm like, listen, man, I see how you could get behind that, but I don't know. Maybe I got to see it again. I got to see it in person, but maybe, I don't know. For now, I'm still going to get it. I like it. Again, I love my Teslas, but it just don't really like it. It looks hella weird so far with everything. Like, it's an ugly ass vehicle, dude. It's not. I'm hyped, but it's so not. Like, the new Prius hits way, way harder. I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. Yeah, like PS. It just, dude, I don't know. I just saw one. I'm sure it'll look better, man. Like, I don't know. It's like, you ever see like a girl before, and like you ever just see a girl and you look at her like the wrong way, and you're like, damn, and then you can never look at her again the same. That's what I feel like happened with the Cybertruck. I just saw it turn, and it was turning, And I was looking at it, and I was like, dude, that thing is hideous. It looked like a Pontiac Aztec. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it straight up looked like a Pontiac Aztec. And even then, I fuck with the Pontiac Aztec. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like it if it's a Pontiac, but it just looked like some weird Terminator Pontiac Aztec, man. And I was like, I was tripping out, man. I was like, this one's not it, man. Yeah, look, Walter White looked better in it. Elon proving he'll buy any garbage. Like I said, I'm buying it. I feel you on that. I've totally, because like I don't want like a fucking Ford Lightning. I'm sorry. I think it's a cool truck. Only Ford Lightning I want is a 2001 Ford Lightning. But it's like that's the only other EV, and I've waited so long. I mean, worst case, I'm hoping I get my Cybertruck early. We try going off-roading with it, and then I flip it. But other than that, it's like at the same time, the general concept, I was down with it, but I saw one of those real life videos, and now I can't go back. I'm like, it's a filter. We're gonna find out. What about Rivian? The only thing that goes hard from Rivian is the delivery trucks. I could get behind that in a second. Anything else, I'm not with it. Rivian, I don't know, but still. The comparison. The Cybertruck's way better. I don't know. I don't know. I think the Rivian might look better, low-key, than the Cybertruck. I don't know. But the Cybertruck, it's hard to explain, dude. I just saw it. Really weird, bro. I just saw it, and I can't go back now. But the Rivian, I've never been a fan of the Rivian. Like, you guys know it's okay to, like, if you make an EV, it's okay to use edges. You know what I'm saying? Like... So I'm glad the Cybertruck is like incorporating that into an electric vehicle, like a straight line and edge, you know, because that's it. Every other electric company, they're like against using like a straight line and edge. The Rivian looked like a weird futuristic bubble. They all look like weird bubble cars. I don't know how to describe it. Again, I'm not the fan of EV, but I do have Teslas. Bubbles probably flow air better. I'm sure you could do one with like a straight line, you know? You know what I'm saying? It took profits on Oxy. Celsius went up. We haven't really moved much, man. And again, we did our push-ups. It's still very early. We got still like 20 minutes until 10 a.m. So bright and early here, Chattadonia. You have a tremendous amount of time left still. Not much has happened. Again, China news, bad services in the morning. That's what kind of started us off there. Even Europe, again, they had bad data. You saw that play out. The dollar strengthened a ton. Not much, but again, even yesterday while United States was closed, it was good overseas. And now we're waiting for data tomorrow. A couple more Fed speakers. There was Waller in the morning, and he was bullish. I mean, that's why I think somebody asked that earlier. This is like Waller. He's a voter. He said some bullish stuff. He said we're pretty much done raising. He reiterated that again, but was saying that we shouldn't raise. He was cautioning against raising again. Sox L on the high. AMD's moving. And then Tesla again, bro. 4.7. Where's Meta? I forgot. We're still in that one. Meta, we're up. That one came down, though. Comparative from the morning. Yeah, you got like $1, $1.50 per share. Yeah, Tesla's all day. I think how many highs is that? That's 1,000 highs of the day. 1,069 hits on the high ticker today. So Tesla is like actually just killing it. I don't know if you want me to have this talk again. I'm still in the AMD. That one's good too. And then Intel as well. And then, like we said, regionals were very, very bad today. Same thing. In the midst of all this, the Russell 2000 is down 1.5. Yeah, but Tesla's, dude, 1,058 or 69? I think more now. Very good for Habibi. Tesla. Switch gears. Was it down or pre-market? I know Meta was down like 1-2%, then right at cash open went up 1%, then a quarter, then down, and then started going. But I don't know if Tesla was red. That's 1,000 highs intraday, almost 1,100. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, so Tesla was lower. By your actually no. This was all pre-market, believe it or not. So you were lower, just like Meta. You were lower than by pre-market. It took off, but it just recovered all of that sell-off from Friday. The screener is on your screen right here, the high-low ticker. That's great for finding, highs and lows throughout the day. So that's where I pulled that number from, just right here. So again, literally Tesla hit the high ticker 1,000 times today. So you saw it again, almost just under 1,100 prints. I don't think there was Tesla news unless it was related to the price stuff. I think, again, there was stuff on Friday, too, with the Model 3, the new model, the price cuts, and there was a lot of other stuff. I think there might have was. I might be blanking on something from Tesla today. Let's see. Manu, I don't know. Manu's getting annoying. The Glazers, there's a report today that said 2025. So remember, we were in it for a while, then we had the back and forth, we went up, then it shot down, then they said we're not doing the deal, and then they said we're doing the deal, and then now it's just like, nah. Tesla needs a 2.8% rally to surpass the bull market threshold. That was at 7:50 in the morning. But yeah, I don't think there was anything on Tessie. Was there auto sales numbers? August auto sales? Yeah, that could be it, actually. August auto sales. So for GM, Ford, Tesla, if you took all the auto numbers this morning, you had 1.3 million. It was plus 16%. 27 days versus 26 days of inventory. Yeah, so you had broader auto numbers. Oh, and then I see Tesla output plan for China. And then all the news from last week on again, even the German factory, that was fat news last week. I think it got attention. I think it started off red, then went up. And then the other stuff is very, very good. Hey, man, it's your birthday. Let's go. Is that our first birthday of the day? Where is it? Horn. Hey, man. I gave you that horn first. Now you get the big one. That's good, man. Happy birthday to anybody else out there with a birthday, too. I missed the birthdays. It's been 1 day since we've had the birthdays, or 2 days. I hope you enjoyed it. You had Troy's birthday on Saturday or Sunday. So, amen, and get ready for September, bro. We got a lot of September birthdays. So, happy Monday, Tuesday. It's a Tuesday that feels like a Monday that we call Monday, Tuesday, or you could call it Tuesday, Monday, if you feel that that's more accurate. Amen. Do I have any type of CD investments? No, I just use short-term bill or money market. They're pretty much about the same right now. Was Troy here? Did he survive his birthday? I mean, he might be recovering. He might be. I mean, again, Labor Day. I feel like people party on Labor Day, but I don't know. It was chill. I was kicking it. I stayed away from any crowds. I told you last Labor Day I got stuck in traffic, but I mean, I think Labor Day it's a drinking holiday. I think. I don't know. I didn't. Dude, that's it, bro. I was drinking like orange juice. I was mad coconut waters. It's beautiful, bro. Jay All is good. I haven't seen him in the chat. He messaged me on DM. He DM'd me on Twitter like a couple days after the Origin with some stuff, but that's it. Other than that, I haven't seen him here. Oh, I'm here. I had a late start. He's in the game, baby. I would understand, bro. That's it. Birthday, then a day off the next day. I mean, run it up. Man, happy birthday, Power. God bless you. Enjoy thy birthday. Make that another year in the long term. That's what that stands for. Shout out to future self. No? Anyone? All right. Ramping up production. Yeah, that was part of the Tesla stuff. Like I said, no shortage of news for Tessie in the last couple of days. Tesla. But we'll see. I'm still like shocked by it. Because it feels like if you just look at it, it's moving along with anything else that bounced. But I just feel like I've been seeing 5, 7, 8, 4, 5% days out of it. Just give up SPY. Viva price target raised to 211 from 180 by Wells Fargo. Yes, dude. I don't know. Maybe we should we have taken the day off? The day after off too? I forgot about that. We could have had a 5-day weekend if you played your cards right. Because low-key, the data is only tomorrow. Then after that, I don't mean, except for Europe, just ECB stuff will move us. And then the bonds giving up isn't good. But not like low-key, bro. You're not even, this kind of feels like Friday. Even volume is starting to get treacherously low. It's 10 o'clock and we're at almost 30 million in volume. So to give you context, we could do 26 million in volume in like an hour and a half, 2 hours, I guess. 6, 7, 8, 9, that's 3 hours. It's like slightly below. That means opening volume was low, and then we're just naturally just fading throughout the day in terms of trade volume. MERM, what's this? MIRM. Kind of a decent pop, 2%. Miriam Pharmaceuticals. Spotify. So again, there was Chad sent me an article from Sweden, like a Swedish newspaper, and they blamed Spotify of laundering money. Where was that? Here it is. So I don't think it had an effect. It was a very interesting. We went over this early in the morning. Raul from the Top Ropes says how criminal networks in Sweden use false Spotify streams to launder money. This morning, Sweden's newspaper Svenska Dagbladet published a thorough investigation into how criminal networks have used Spotify to launder money for years, specifically that they have been paying for false streams for music published by artists with ties to groups and then capitalized on the engineered popularity. So the first step belongs a criminal was to buy Bitcoin through cash in hand via a Facebook group. The gang then used the crypto to pay for fake streams, that is, buy music by bots, hijacked accounts, and other inauthentic methods. Apparently, this contact happened through Telegram, earning the seller the nickname Telegram bots, symbiotic relationships between gangs and artists. And so I guess then they would make the money. They would buy Bitcoin to buy fake streams, and then the streamer, they would blow up Tekashi 69, but like the Swedish version, I guess. And then they would, maybe Swedish House Mafia. Maybe. That makes a lot more sense now. And then they would make money off of them. I don't know. I still like. So apparently the idea is you spend money on the fake bots, then they would blow up. And then eventually they would make real money to fund their criminal organizations. But Spotify don't mind. Is that Ruckus? We're still down on that, but a couple of those biotechs came up today. Yeah, we're still down on Ruckus. Folk was in the green. Where's the other one? Did RXRX? Oh, that was green today. Then they sold. Where's NVIDIA? Micron's running, and then AMD still 110. I'm saying Young Lean is the industry plant. I mean, with a name like that, we should call him Young Lean. I think the kids will love it. BS article, that's why. It doesn't really that's not that's not what I think of when I hear money laundering. I've never seen they're like, all right, man, we gonna launder money. We're going to put all of our chips into Tekashi 6ix9ine to launder this said money. I don't think that's how it went. That's why I'm like, I see it as like a plot. You know, it seems like it's a conspiracy, but money laundering, I don't know. That just seems like a very interesting like music scheme to like blow an artist up and get famous, rather than like, you know, money laundering more or less. And it just seems like one guy probably sold drugs and then his homie rapped. I don't know. That one seems more closer to the matter than money laundering. Mm-hmm. Qualcomm's running. I feel like they've been on, I guess, 172 times on the high. I feel like I've seen Qualcomm a lot, but that pales in comparison to young Tessie. Mm. And then Spotify, too. Still up there. SPY's right above VWAP. Bonds have not hit a low for maybe just above an hour, I would say. But we're kind of doing nothing here. I mean, if SPY goes below VWAP here, if we break 4,500, that will not be good. But then again, I mean, you were a little bit lower earlier in the day, and we have not gone out of the range. Still 4,500 though. And then SPY's down 0.19, Dow 0.25, NASDAQ still in the green somehow. There it is. AMD, you got $2 a share almost, 2%, not bad. And then Meta's still up. I forgot about that. Spotify keeps going. Doesn't start moving till 1:30. Well, no, I mean, day after holiday, you sometimes get very slow days. Kind of makes sense with the schedule, but I think we got tricked into a cuck. I mean, I'm glad I only made one play and I'm up on it, but it does feel like, it feels a lot like Friday. It's just like if you had plays that were winning, you rode them up today. If it was down, it sold off. And then overall index, it has been a little weirder. I mean, I will tell you, energy, banks, and like the interaction between like healthcare and some of the other like staples, it's been weird, but it's about it. But yeah, volume is low. The whole prop firm debacle. What's the prop firm debacle? All I know is that they're just shit, but I don't know if there's a new development. You're 30 minutes behind. You got to refresh. We were on I accidentally left DVR on, and everybody got lost in space. Prop firms are a debacle. Some prop firm got busted by the CFTF for what? Being a B-booking? Triangle schemes? They never took any trades. Oh, my Forex funds? I don't know. Oh, yeah. OSC issued as 3 days ago. After $310 million fraud. Yeah. So they were making big money. I told you, they make fat money off of it, dude. They're not the only one, but I wonder why they only caught them. Since 2021, they got $310 million in just fees. So they wouldn't even place your trades. CFTC, Murtaza Kazmi and his entities known as My Forex Funds alleged fraudulent solicitation of customers to engage in leverage, margin, or finance retail exchanges. They filed a complaint in the District Court of D.C. And then that's it. But they have a court date so far, but that's it. They just froze their bank accounts for the most part. Yeah, they would just pay out the traders who win with the fees. Yeah, but like think about it. If somebody took a trade and voluntarily blew up their account, you keep their whole amount. It was like, I'm telling you, all of them. I've said that for a while, but hey, I mean, it's there. The data is there. The data is there. Is AMD reacting? It was early. I don't know the comment that made them go up. I think it was something, again, related to AI. But then they just started holding up. None of the guidance comments, I mean, Lisa Su didn't really touch on much. But it's been edging up here. Market's been going down. They've held up, but that's about it. If an outlier does well, they might not be able to pay. Well, they usually don't pay them. They usually just say it's an issue, and then they give them their money back and then just don't pay them the profits. You've heard of Robinhood, right? You remember GameStop? Yeah. I know I've seen other streamers advertise prop firms that offer you $50K for $50 a month, and I know the math was not mathing. Yeah, it's just like a more sketchier hard money for stocks. But then again, we've had the discussion a lot. It's not, like I said, anybody, it's a hard conversation to have because I'm on the side of fighting against the commercial that tells you, hey, let me give you everything you want. You know, give me small amount of money and I will give you large amounts of money for you to trade and unlock your trading as a career right now. You know, it's like it's a very hard side to argue because it's like you're getting offered everything you want. Like, so most people, they're like, nah, man, I want, like, Josh, what do you mean, bro? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean, bro? This is like, they said I could, and this is how I'm going to get it. So it's like, nah, don't fall for it. Am I crazy for the Roth to RH? No, they have really good retirement accounts. Because again, I don't know if you look to like Morgan Stanley or anywhere else, I'm sure they charge like different fees for like Roths and self-employed 401ks and all that. So we'll see. Bet here's a small amount of money. Thank you, my friend. It's good. At least the instructions were clear this time. I don't understand how they could give you $50K to trade. What happens? It's because you're trying to understand it. Like, you never heard that? It's like a joke, bro. Like, this is why you're not supposed to talk. Like, my guy gets it. Like, you say $50K for $50 a month, you should just stop right there. You know what I'm saying? The math does not math. But, like, once you try to, like, if you try to entertain fuckery, you get like caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, wait a minute, how do they get the money? It's because it doesn't happen. So it's one thing about like stop losses and how like if it was real, how they could prevent you and where there's the shortcomings. But at the end of the day, this case recently, what it highlights is that there was nothing happening. That's no money, no trades were really happening. That's it. It was somebody who created a paper trade program and got people to deposit money, and they were never paying out anything. It was just so that's how they were able to tell you had this amount of money or not. It was whatever they put into the program until you lost or made money, and then that was it. Yeah, you get limit downs, 50x leverage, but 2K stop loss, and then you're out, and then got to pay for access again. Yeah. I mean, hey, man, it is what it is. It's super, like, most people, it's been going to, it's like the speaker scam. It's like the gypsy driveway or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of these are just, this is the financial version of it. That's all. Like that, binary options, Like, if eventually you're going to spend enough time, you'll get exposed to it. But if you fall for it, I mean, at this point, you're just falling for the easiest trap of, hey, they offered me everything I ever wanted for a very low amount of risk. So there you go. Mobileye. Oh, where's Intel? And then Spotify. Has Intel been moving with Mobileye? I totally forgot about this whole little dynamic. And then SPY's below VWAP. Are we near 4,500, 4,504? Still a little bit more, I guess, until we break back. 4,500 is like what? Right here? So 44.9, 44972 on the SPY. GitLab. Small cap stock set for the worst day since April? What is this? The S&P small cap 600 is down 2.5% afternoon. Oh, is that because that's because of all of the upgrades and downgrades? Small caps have lagged behind large caps so much so far this year. The S&P is up 4.3 in 2023 versus the S&P 17% gain. Damn, that's crazy. So, Bill, interest rates have done better? And small caps? No shit. Oh, I guess so. You're on the plane. You leaving, baby? Be safe. Enjoy it. Safe travels. It's a good day to travel. I don't know, Chad. Do you guys want to have a debate today? Should we just get that pot? Because I'm telling you, the market kind of slowed. Unless we get a flush right here and get some activity. Otherwise, this thing's pretty like, it's just chilling out, man. That debate was fun on Friday. Is that, or maybe we do a workout session. I'm kind of down. We could do like Billy Blank's Josh Answers workout session. You know, we get out there and then boom. Check the weather. I think it's good weather. It was very cloudy in the morning. Airport's not bad at all in Vegas. I'll never debate a Chad after Friday. I'll lose for sure. That was a very quality group, even though it was a random sample of just Chads. That was a very effective group. But then it makes sense. If you get a Chad who's willing to like type in the Zoom code, not F around and really participate, like that's a high level, you know, it was just a high level conversation, man. It was excellent. I got sun. I think I have sun. I don't know the weather actually. Because on my room, I close my blinds. Like usually I have like one bathroom in the thing, one window. Like it's light outside, but I can't tell. Yeah, it's like cloudy, sunnyish. It's like chill. I stay in my cage during streaming hours. I have my little box. It's good. My first question for you is if you had any HIT videos, some high intensity. Is that what we're going to do? I'm down. All right, Chad, but you're starting to slip, like I'm saying. I mean, maybe we do nothing if it like hits the lows and like literally just trades like Friday. It's gonna be annoying, but otherwise, if it does start to flush here, I mean, there is enough time. It's just very, very early. U.S. agency makes initial decision that 52 million airbag inflators produced by ARC Automotive Delphi are unsafe and need to be recalled. Is that old? I your neighbor? If you've seen me, I look like a lizard. But then again, it's like I don't really see my neighbors. I haven't talked to them in a while. What, Chad? It's time. I need to go to the potty again. We've already done our... It's already 10:11, man. Already 10:11. Actually, hold on. You guys might have some time.
An economy.
There it is. All right, I'll be right back. Follow me on
actually
Instagram.
bigger
at the Trading
than
Fraternity.
Saudi Arabia.
I love you. Good
inside
morning.
the U.S. economy.
No, be right back. Only a couple,
Pumping out
3 hours left.
more oil
3
than
hours
they
left.
pump out. And so while we suffer, and some people will be suffering from these higher oil prices, maybe about inflation, we have this inflow into the U.S. economy offsetting it. Same thing, and the ability of the U.S. economy to adapt is one of the things I think people get wrong when they focus on a single negative. Watch for the stack negatives.
You're right. To put it differently, Lollapalooza effect. That was a Charlie Munger one. A great speech on the same idea. It takes more than one thing to go wrong. It takes a lot of them all at the same time.
All
and
at
not
the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a quick note of caution, because we're all pretty giddy here. I mean, when the economy is growing slowly, and when it is growing slowly, it is vulnerable to anything that can go wrong. And it doesn't take a whole lot of those little things that you were just talking about. So I do think oil at closing in on $90 a barrel, on top of student loan debt payments restarting, on top of UAW strikes, on top of the higher fixed mortgage rates. I'm optimistic, but I think we need to be cautious here because the economy still is quite vulnerable. And another key reason why the Fed should end its rate hikes. No more rate hikes, please, because the economy is going where it needs to go.
You've been quite clear on that for some time. I'm already seeing a graphic, Steve. It's a Lollapalooza, and it looks like the show rundown, but instead of the bands, it has all of the different things.
Right. Well, one of the things, you and I have talked about this for a very long time, and I know we got to go. They're yelling in the back maybe at you, but is the counter-cyclical, the way that things have not been synchronous. Different parts of the economy have sunk down at different times. We probably going through maybe a goods recession for a while, and then a real estate, but real estate looks like it's maybe on the way back right now.
And that's what makes the state and local spending so significant. Contra 2008, that's a massive positive right now.
Now you're continuing your own conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, you get the blame, not me.
Gentlemen, thanks. Steve Leisman, Mark Zandi. We do really appreciate it. Time now to reveal what my next guest says is the one key trend to watch that could derail the Fed's 2% inflation goals and the market's hopes for next year. And like I said, it's not oil, but it is all these labor battles. UPS, United, American Airlines, 3 major companies that have already seen at least a 10% yearly jump in wages. And my next guest only sees that emboldening other unions. It's not just a threat to the Fed, but there's also a negative correlation between wage gains and stock prices. For more, I'm joined by Mark Avallone, president of Potomac Wealth Advisors. Welcome, Mark. So you think this isn't just all show? I mean, there's a real effect on the economy here.
Well, there is a real effect in the economy. It's a lag effect. It hasn't fully been impacted. But look at what the UAW is asking. And if we think that's going to end there, we're mistaken. It's going to embolden companies that may not even be unionized to have more. So the Starbucks of the world are feeling pressure. And I'm old enough to remember the late 70s, early 80s, and what cost push inflation does and how it makes things less competitive, or at the least is a negative to stock prices. So ignoring 10% wage gains that are going to take effect in the future simply because wages have been declining in the past 12 months does not look at the entire picture.
Yeah, STX
And
dying.
A lot of people will say, and I'm sympathetic to this argument, Mark, that unions are a much smaller share of the population than they used to be.
Keep listening. I'm in the background, but that's huge. 73.50 to 71.
See, here's what I want. I'll just play devil's advocate that this might be their last chance. If the labor market softens in the next 6 to 12 months, it won't matter if other workers would like this similar kind of pay raise. They may not have the bargaining power to get it.
That is all true. And I'm not saying that everyone's going to get a 10% pay raise like United, like UPS, or like the UAW wants. But to think that there's not going to be pressure from organizers to get a little more, for inflation to remain a little stubborn, and then government wages keeping up with inflation. We're still a little north of 4%. That is twice as much as the Fed's target. So yes, we've made a lot of progress, but just to think the trend line will continue uninterrupted, I think could be groupthink and a little bit of a short-term error.
You and I have talked a lot
Yeah,
about
STX
kind of
at Goldman
tactical
conference.
investing. So it sounds like that's making
That's a
you maybe
reverse
a little
effect.
bit cautious on stocks more
Still
broadly.
dropping.
A, is that true? And B, what would you be doing tactically here?
Well, I am more cautious because we like technology, and who doesn't? And thankfully, we stayed there, but the valuations are rich. But then, as asset allocators, we have to go to the value side. And, you can trade in and out of some banks, which we have, but the reality is banks are under a lot of pressure. I had 2 due diligence meetings with bank CEOs, community bank, a regional bank, and they all said the pressure for deposits from the internet is huge. And I said, hey, the internet's been around a while. Why now? And they both said, when you were paying 0, the online was not a competitor because you're not going to move for 0.75%.
Totally.
But when you see a splashy 4 or 5%,
Yo,
there's a lot of
United
money
Airlines
leaving.
issues
And then they have what's
nationwide
called
ground
internal
stop
disintermediation,
due to
which is
computer issues.
existing deposits going to higher cost deposits.
And
ABC
Both of those are
News.
bad for profit. So I think we're a little cautious on that
I don't know if
value
that's coming
side
out right now
because
or not.
financials, largest sector
Yeah,
in
there
the
it is.
value chain.
UAL, clap.
And so you, and we see the
Already
carry
down
under pressure
3.
again
Oh,
today.
man.
You exited that trade then? Because I know
Oh,
going
dude, I
back
had
even a
that
couple
by
of months ago,
30
you were looking to
seconds.
pick up some, pick
The
something up there.
algos did not react to that, but there it is. Literally, UAL. So literally, they've grounded all airline flights from United. Again, and then STX is at the Goldman conference. So 2 of those. I booked, I think it's just for today, unless you're taking off tonight. I don't think they have a reason. I just saw that right there, ABC News. Again, it just came out and then started reacting. Do I want to go to the Philippines? I've heard very good things about the Philippines. They got some really crazy hotels out there. But I don't think so. If anything, I think I'm going to try to do Switzerland or go somewhere where I could snowboard this winter. Other than that, then that's it. Ba-da-ba-ba-bop. Yeah, STX, it's crazy because we've been watching this little conference thing and watching it bring stocks up. But now we're finally watching one where they dropped. Come to Singapore and Bali. I could snowboard, yeah. That's the only, my girlfriend, she looks down upon me because I don't ski. But yeah, I could snowboard. But like, I'd like the, what's it called? I like the, I want to go to Europe. I want to go like Europe for sure. That's it. Otherwise, I'm not going to go to, you guys are like, come to Colombia. I'm not going to Colombia, bro. What do you think this is, man? That's the Switzerland. Your family's from there. What? Connie? You're from Switzerland? The fuck, Connie? This whole time? That's crazy. Yeah, that's where my girl's family's from. That's why that's like the only place I'm allowed to go. My girlfriend will get mad if I went out of the country and I didn't go to Switzerland because I ducked it last year. I was like, nah. Duolingo on the high again. United Airlines, I'm trying to see, but literally it looks like it's just a computer issue that brought it down. But that was right there. Again, we had it like 30 seconds earlier. And then they had like weird guidance stuff in the morning. Honestly, I don't think the closure thing hasn't hit everybody else. My mom is one of 10, so I have family there. That's crazy. You're like, that's the same. My mom, I think my mom has 11 or 12 sisters. Something stupid. You guys know that? And you know my mom don't have one brother? My mom has like 11 sisters. It's insane. I'm like, that's crazy. You have to. If I go to Switzerland, though, all I want to do is I want to go on the nice-ass train. They got like a train. It's like a bougie-ass train with like giant windows, and it's like hella pretty. And they got dope-ass food, and then you just go on a train, and then that's it. And then you just go through Switzerland on a nice-ass train. That's the only thing I want to do. And then, like, obviously, I want to just see Switzerland, you know, maybe make a joke about cheese. Actually, the cheese is amazing. American, I thought it was UAL. But I got that report there right before it hit. We're going down a little bit. I don't know if the market's going to react, but airlines are down 1% since that came out. You could buy a cybersecurity company. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think those are all up. Well, you're definitely getting volume in reaction, and then SPY's still kind of doing its thing, but then bonds are still lower. The Orient Express. My friend just did it. It's $5,000 a ticket? Oh, what? They didn't tell me that. What do you mean? 5,000? Where do I go? It depends, but I thought it was gonna be like maybe $1,000. But then I'm like, no, actually I don't know how much I thought it would be. Never mind. I had no idea how much it would cost. Now that I think about it. Because now you're telling me 5K, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Did I think it would be 1K? But then I'm like, that still sounds like a lot for a train going to nowhere. Mobilize still going. Where's Intel? SPY kind of bouncing. Again, UAL grounding all flights. They're still going lower. Better take me to the moon for 5K. Nah, man. Maybe like somewhere else, but like the moon is like 250,000 minimum. I don't think that 5K will get you to the moon, sir. I hate to be that guy. SPY's getting footage. Kind of. We're still just holding this. This is like the low of year. We're like right above 4,500. You don't want Spirit for the moon or train. Bro, I'm not trying to go to the moon. No, thank you. My flight to Geneva is cheaper than my taxi from the airport to Geneva. Wow. Yeah. My girl said parking is crazy too. But again, I've never been. I don't really go to European countries. Best we could do is $250 to see the Titanic. Wow. Okay, there it is. Now I'm getting another report. UAL. It's hitting other like places, but where'd it go? I don't have the full report. It's not loading, but it says United Airlines issues nationwide ground stoppage due to computer issues. Yeah, it's hitting again. Microsoft. UAL's still selling again. That news is hitting the wire again. I don't know. Did you guys see it on this one? I don't know if you saw it on this one in front of you. Disney price target cut too by Wells Fargo. VP. Guess not. So they're still going down. I don't know if any of the, someone said American earlier, and I'm looking at the other airlines. They were just down. Remember, we were looking at them all day, and people were bringing up how travel was there, but literally UAL is down 4%. So it's dropped another 2% since we put it back up there. Did I scroll past it? I don't see it. Because it came out, like, even within 10 minutes, it came out pretty early, but I know the chat has it. I saw it on another one, but that's it. I'm not seeing it on this. It doesn't have. Well, I'm saying that because then it'll start to go everywhere. So like if you're hearing it on one place, it will start to get reiterated. Like now it's hitting Dow Jones Newswire. So you might start to see it start to pop up here. I'm getting a report at 10:25 now. Oh yeah, right here. This just came out. Yeah, United issues. So this is now, it's starting to hit like the third and fourth wires from here. United Airlines issues nationwide ground stoppers. This is an FAA advisory, says. Yeah, STX was a move from a Goldman conference. We had a lot there. I'm just saying, watch the airlines because UAL's suffering. They're grounding their flights. Maybe somebody else moves, but still not good. And then Old Total earns Microsoft Teams Certified Contract Center Solutions. Jill Biden is experiencing mild COVID symptoms. Will remain in Delaware for a week. Oh, that's the briefing. We'll give you a little bit.
With his physician. There are currently no updates to the White House COVID-19 protocols. We continue to work closely with public health and medical professionals to monitor the virus.
It's about the same.
We're in our strongest position yet to fight COVID-19 and the viruses responsible for majority of fall and winter hospitalizations.
It's 2023.
As we head into the fall,
it's about to be 2024.
We have more tools and systems available today to help communities this fall and winter season, including safe updated vaccines that will be available mid-September, widely available at-home COVID test, widely available effective treatments, which can reduce the risk of severe illness, hospitalizations, and death. We will be encouraging, as I have said before, Americans to get their updated COVID-19 vaccine in addition to their annual flu shot and also RSV vaccines, as you all know. With that, thank you, Jake, for your patience. Jake is going to talk about the president's travel to India and any other foreign policy questions that you may have. The podium is yours.
Thank you, Karine, and thanks to all of you for giving me the opportunity to be here today. And Karine mentioned my patience. I'm going to test your patience for a moment because I'd like to take a few minutes at the top just to set the scene for the president's upcoming trip to Delhi for the G20 and to Vietnam to elevate our partnership with Vietnam. On Thursday, the president will travel to New Delhi, India, to attend the G20 Leaders Summit. On Friday, President Biden will participate in a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Modi of the Republic of India. And on Saturday and Sunday, the president will participate in the official sessions of the G20 Summit. As the president heads to the G20, he's committed to working with emerging market partners to deliver big things together. That's what we believe the world will see in New Delhi this weekend. The United States' commitment to the G20 hasn't wavered, and we hope this G20 summit will show that the world's major economies can work together even in challenging times. So as we head into New Delhi, our focus is going to be on delivering for developing countries, making progress on key priorities for the American people, from climate to technology, and showing our commitment to the G20 as a forum that can actually, as I said before, deliver. And thanks to the leadership of Prime Minister Modi and India's presidency, we hope we'll be able to do all of those things. We're also looking forward to warmly welcoming the African Union as a permanent member of the G20, the newest permanent member. We believe that the African Union's voice will make the G20 stronger. Let me say a few more words stepping back about what the United States is bringing to the table as we head into this summit. Here at home, President Biden has worked to rebuild the American economy, as you've all heard him say, from the bottom up and the middle out, by making smart investments in the industries of the future while tackling climate change and empowering workers. And we believe that those investments are paying off. We think countries around the world, too, can benefit from a similar type of approach, and that we can help them as well by mobilizing investment to support them in tackling the challenges that they face. And that's one of our main focuses heading into the G20, delivering on an agenda of fundamentally reshaping and scaling up the multilateral development banks, especially the World Bank and the IMF. We know that these institutions are some of the most effective tools that we have for mobilizing transparent, high-quality investment into developing countries. And that's why the United States has championed the major effort that is currently underway to evolve these institutions so that they are up to the challenges of today and tomorrow. Just last month, President Biden asked Congress for additional funds that would have the impact of increasing World Bank financing by more than $25 billion. And we're working to make sure that other partners
Southwest
follow
just put something out
and
saying
at the
they
G20,
completed 99%
we've been leading an effort that we hope will see the G20 endorse this
During
level
Labor
of
Day.
ambition and deliver a broader vision of multilateral development banks that are better, bigger, and more effective. President Biden will also be calling on G20 members as leaders in the global economy to provide meaningful debt relief so that low and middle income countries can regain their footing after years of extreme stress. He'll be clear that the United States expects real progress on ongoing cases by the World Bank and IMF annual meetings in Marrakesh next month, and he will be clear that we need all G20 members to be constructive and at the table with no exceptions. We'll also be making progress on other key priorities, from climate to health to digital technology, including commitments with respect to a more inclusive digital transformation and a responsible path and approach to AI development. In addition, we'll spotlight the progress that we've been making on the Partnership for Global Infrastructure Investment, or what we call PGI.
Hey, God bless you,
We'll have some
Keon.
announcements that we're excited
I just
about.
saw that come through there.
Now, we know that there'll be
Yeah, my
continued
dad.
focus on how the G20
love
deals
you.
with Russia's illegal and ongoing war in Ukraine.
Daily screaming of
The
father
reality
Edgar.
is that Russia's illegal war has had devastating social and economic consequences.
It's good. I'm using
and the
this.
poorest
It's still
countries on
kind
the
of like
planet are bearing
vacation
the
day
brunt
until
of
we
that.
flush 100 points.
As he has
We're
done
gonna
before,
see.
President Biden will
Otherwise,
call
I'm
for
laying
a
y'all
just
chill a
and
little
durable
bit.
peace, one founded in respect for international law, principles of the UN Charter, the precepts of territorial integrity and sovereignty, and he will continue to emphasize that the United States will support Ukraine for as long as it takes to redeem these principles. Last but not least, and this is important, you'll see that the United States will make it clear that we remain committed to the G20 as a critical forum for all of the major economies of the world to come together for global problem solving.
And you are
At
not
a
shadow
moment
banned.
when the international economy is suffering from historic and overlapping shocks, it's more important than ever that we have a working forum with the world's largest economies to deliver meaningful outcomes. So in a sign of that commitment, the United States is looking forward to hosting the G20 in 2026. Now, turning briefly to Vietnam. On September 10th, the president will travel to Vietnam to meet with the General Secretary
Come on, where's everybody
and Vietnam's
at?
top leadership. Building on President Biden's string of diplomatic successes
one
in the
VinFast?
Indo-Pacific just this year,
That's crazy.
this visit is a remarkable step
VinFast
in the
is
strengthening
done,
of
bro.
our diplomatic ties.
The guy
And
said
it reflects
Vietnam
the
and the
leading
chat
role
didn't
that
go
Vietnam
crazy.
will play
That's all I'm
in our
telling
growing
you.
network of partnerships in the Indo-Pacific as we look to the future.
Maybe it's the DVR.
For decades, the U.S. and Vietnam have worked to overcome a painful shared legacy of the Vietnam War, working hand in hand to promote reconciliation, with our service members and our veterans lighting the way, work that is dear to the president's heart, particularly in light of his close friendship with Senator John McCain. As we survey common challenges on everything from the South
I do
China
like
Sea
Vietnamese
to
food.
critical and emerging technologies,
I do.
the United States and Vietnam
There's
will
only
chart
like
out a
one dish
vision
I
for
think I
facing
know,
the
though.
21st century together with an elevated and energized partnership. And finally, Vice President Harris is traveling literally as we speak to Jakarta, Indonesia, to attend the U.S.-ASEAN Summit and the East Asia Summit, and to engage with leaders from across the Indo-Pacific from September 5th to September 7th. Her upcoming visit will be her fourth visit to the Indo-Pacific in 2 years and her third visit to Southeast Asia. Vice President Harris has met with more than 36 presidents and prime ministers from the Indo-Pacific. And throughout her work, she is focused on strengthening alliances and partnerships, driving economic growth in the United States, and upholding international rules and norms. At both summits, the Vice President will underscore the United States' enduring commitment to the Indo-Pacific generally and to ASEAN centrality specifically. And we look forward to having her be able to report back to the president on those trips as the president embarks on his own trip to India and Vietnam. I told you that I was going to test your patience a bit. I think I made good on my promise. So with that, I'd be happy to take your questions. Yeah.
Given what we know about how COVID works, I understand the president is negative now, but are you planning for any contingencies in case he does test positive in the coming days or during the trip? Could he attend any of these meetings virtually? Are you thinking ahead to that?
I'll let Karine speak to COVID planning here at the White House, as it's beyond my ken. But of course, we have long experience now from the early days of the administration.
What are you going to do? The exact same thing?
For situations in which COVID plays a role in summits.
Thank God for the experience.
We've seen various leaders at various times participate virtually in events. But in terms of specific contingency planning here from the White House, Karine can speak to that.
And just one more. On Sunday, the president said he was disappointed that President Xi was not going to be attending the G20. But then he said, I'm going to get to see him. What did he mean by that? Has something been scheduled here?
Nothing's been scheduled, but the president has said before that he's looking forward to picking up the conversation that he had with President Xi in Bali last year, and he fully intends to do that in the months ahead. Yeah.
Jake, thanks so much. Can you, just following up on that point, give us a sense of the timing? Do you think that conversation might take place in the coming weeks, in the coming months?
I can't give you a sense of timing today.
Okay, and on North Korea, very quickly, there are obviously reports that Kim Jong-un could be poised to visit Russia. This comes as the White House has recently said arms negotiations between North Korea and Russia were, quote, actively advancing. What is the latest assessment of the state of play between those two countries?
Well, actively advancing captures it well. Our current analysis is that
all those
discussions
companies?
Between North Korea and Russia with respect to North Korea providing military support to Russia for its war in Ukraine.
I don't like the
those
price.
Discussions
I mean, at the right price,
advancing.
owning those brands won't be
Most
too bad.
recently, we saw the defense minister of Russia,
Especially
Sergei
during
Shoigu,
recession.
make a trip to Pyongyang, in essence, to ask for weapons. And we also have information, as we have indicated publicly, that North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, has some expectation that those discussions will continue as we go forward, including leader-level discussions, perhaps even in-person leader-level discussions. Now, I can't get into all the details of what we know, but at the broad parameters, that is what we are seeing. Ongoing discussions and discussions where we have information that the leadership of North Korea sees this as potentially leading to leader-level engagement. And I would just add that we have been discussing publicly the possibility of North Korea supplying weapons to Russia for quite some time. And the reason why that there is such an intense effort on the part of Moscow to generate this kind of support from North Korea is that we have continued to squeeze Russia's defense industrial base, and they are now going about looking to whatever source they can find for things like artillery ammunition. That's what we see going on now, and we will continue to call it out, and we will continue to call on North Korea to abide by its public commitments not to supply weapons to Russia that will end up killing Ukrainians.
And any indication of listening to those very public warnings that you've mentioned?
Over time, we have not seen them actively supply large amounts of munitions or other military capacity to Russia for the war in Ukraine. I cannot predict to you what will happen at the end of this. I can only say that the discussions have been actively advancing, and the Russians have imbued them with an increased intensity, as reflected in the fact that their defense minister, their number one guy in their defense establishment, actually got on a plane and flew to Pyongyang to try to push this forward. Yeah.
Jake, just wanted to talk to you about G20 for a second, but just to follow up on North Korea, could we get a little bit more analysis of how you think this is benefiting the North Koreans or what they want out of this? Do you think that part of this has to do with them getting less than they want from their traditional patron in Beijing? Do you think that the U.S. has any leverage in terms of what it can do here in terms of either providing food aid to the North Koreans or ratcheting up sanctions? Where's the room for movement there?
So I can't speculate on North Korea's motives. What I can say is this. Providing weapons to Russia for use on the battlefield to attack grain silos and the heating infrastructure of major cities as we head into winter, to try to conquer territory that belongs to another sovereign nation, this is not going to reflect well on North Korea, and they will pay a price for this in the international community. We have also imposed sanctions, specific targeted sanctions, to try to disrupt any effort to use North Korea as a conduit or as a source for weapons going to Russia. We did so as recently as mid-August. And we have continued to convey privately as well as publicly to the North Koreans and asked allies and partners to do the same our view that they should abide by their publicly stated commitments that they're not going to provide
I wonder
these
if it
weapons.
gives off vibes.
What has
like
changed in their calculus
in the beginning
is
when
not
they were
something
like,
that
Russia's
I
going to
can
invade
speak
Ukraine.
to. That's in the mind of
have
Kim
intel.
Jong-un, and he obviously
But
will be
for
the
now,
ultimate
they're just
decision
talking.
maker. But we will
We've heard this
continue to
Russia,
look
North
for
Korea shit for a while.
opportunities to dissuade the North Koreans from taking this step, to get others to do the same, and to report to the world what we are seeing in terms of the actively advancing discussions that are taking place between these two countries.
And then on G20, just cognizant of the fact that the State Department has blistering human rights reports out on both of the countries that Biden is going to, India and Vietnam, including passages about their restrictions on freedom of expression for the media, threats of violence, arrests,
Happy Tuesday,
this
Monday.
sort of thing. Is that something that the U.S. journalists who are traveling with Biden should expect? And are you taking any actions to ensure their safety?
It looks. I like that brand, that name. If that's who they own,
ability of the American
I'll have to look
press
into it more. But
traveling with
obviously, it's
President Biden
still
to be
trading
able
at
to
a
go to
price.
the
But
G20 and cover the
like
G20
I said, the right price.
in
Those
an
bands aren't.
unencumbered
Those
way is
brands
something
aren't
that has
bad.
been a serious priority for this White House, for me personally, as recently as just this morning, and we are putting our money where our mouth is in terms of making sure that American press will have all of the access that they need and are entitled to as members of the international press, as members of the White House press. Secondly, President Biden himself has spoken to questions related to democracy and human rights as recently as the state visit earlier this year. The United States, our position on these issues is clear, is reflected in the statements of our president. It is, of course, reflected in the reports that you're referring to. And when it comes to the trip to Vietnam, we believe that we have a powerful opportunity to advance our partnership in a way that will deliver for the American people and will deliver broader security, stability, and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. But we also always raise issues related to freedom of expression, freedom of religion, and other basic human rights that are at the core of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This trip will be no exception to that. Yeah.
What does it say about the state of Russian supply lines that they're asking of all people, the North Koreans, for help? And is North Korea able to provide artillery and the things you were talking about at a volume that could have any kind of meaningful impact on the conflict?
We have asked our intelligence community that second question. It is a good question. Our visibility into both the question of quantity of stocks and then, of course, quality of stocks is somewhat constrained, but it's something that we will continue to look at carefully. I think there is an open question about how much material and what the quality of the material is that could be provided if it were to be provided. And then I think it says a lot that Russia is having to turn to a country like North Korea to seek to bolster its defense capacity in a war that it expected would be over in a week, that in September of 2023, it is going to North Korea to get munitions to try to continue to grind.
I was looking at the launch. It's commercial real estate, though.
Back on the G20,
great price for now,
but is the president scheduled to meet with Mohammed bin Salman or Erdogan or maybe some leaders that you might be interested in while he's there?
I don't know who, I laugh because I don't know who fits on the list of who you might be interested in. It's like there are two categories, the ones you're not interesed in and the ones you are interested in.
We're interested in all of them. I'm the State Department.
AMD's kind of climbing back up here.
All right. We don't have bilaterals scheduled with either of those two leaders at this time. I'm not going to speak to how the schedule will shape up over the course of the coming days. And as you know, there's a certain dynamic element to this, which is all of these leaders in a very confined space with time on the margins. So some of the bilateral engagements, as you saw last year in Indonesia, will likely be announced at the last minute. And we will do our darndest to make sure that they are done in a way where the U.S. press has the ability to participate in them. Yeah.
Thank you.
They're going to do
the
their
following
darndest.
communique said that most members of the G20 condemned the war in Ukraine. What progress has been made in the last 10 months to get India and China on board with that position?
Well, first of all, India signed on to the statement, most members. It was, as I recall, Russia who was the main objector to the proposition that so many of the other members of the G20 signed on to. I don't expect that Russia is going to flip its position on the Ukraine war this year. So To get absolute consensus on a statement on Ukraine is challenging because you've got Russia seated at the table, albeit not at the leader level because Putin isn't going to be there. But the fact that most members of the G20, as most members of the UN General Assembly, continue to hold the position that Russia's war was illegal, in violation of the UN Charter, and that this war must end on terms consistent with the UN Charter, that is the result of months of hard diplomacy by the United States and our partners, and it continues to reflect where international sentiment is on this issue.
And what assurances has the administration received from Congress that the U.S. will be able to continue funding Ukraine's defenses going forward?
Well, we are working closely with the Congress, as you know, right now on a supplemental funding package that the president has submitted, seeking funding through the end of the year. We've been working with both the Senate and the House. We've had constructive conversations on a bipartisan basis in both chambers. We believe we will be able to secure the necessary funding as we go forward. I'm not going to speak to assurances per se, but the conversations have been constructive, they've been positive, they've been substantive. And we anticipate being able to work our way through to a sound package so that Ukraine can get what it needs. Yeah.
On World Bank reforms, on the one hand, you've talked about it not being about a specific country, that it's not about China. On the other hand, though, you have said that you need an alternative to the, quote, coercive and unsustainable lending through the Belt and Road Initiative. So, how can it be about China and not be about China at the same time?
Well, we believe that there should be high standard, non-coercive lending options available to low and middle income countries. That's a fact. It's also a fact that World Bank reform is not about China, in no small part because China is a shareholder in the World Bank. So growing the size, relevance, capacity of the World Bank to deliver for low and middle income countries is not against China. It's for the entire international community, all of the shareholders of the World Bank, China being one of them. And we believe that just as the United States would benefit from a more stable, more capable set of low and middle income countries being able to deal with their own problems with help from the World Bank and the IMF, China would benefit from that too.
But there is at least a part of it that is focused on China, on those coercive practices of those reforms.
This is an affirmative agenda. It is an agenda about providing high standards, transparent, sustainable, resilient funding streams to countries that cut through the red tape and give not just the poorest countries in the world, but middle-income countries who are dealing with the stresses of climate and COVID and migration and the war in Ukraine access to capital that they can actually take advantage of and put to work. That's not against anybody. That is not a negative agenda. That is an affirmative agenda, positive agenda, and one that's been embraced not just by the United States, not just by our closest allies, but by a very wide range and diverse set of countries. And we believe it will be embraced by the G20 as a whole when we go to New Delhi.
And if I may just finally, you mentioned China being the third largest shareholder. How does it impact that Xi Jinping won't be at the table?
That's why I put it up earlier. We were getting some headlines while you're making some movement on that.
Does it change the pitch at all, or how does that change with them not being there?
It won't change our pitch. Our pitch has been consistent working into the summit. President Biden will reinforce it. China will have representatives at the table, albeit not represented at the leader level, but the United States is going to put forward the same straightforward, in our view, clear-cut case for why this is so important. And more importantly, we'll also put on the table the fact that we are asking the Congress for financing to be able to make sure that the United States is not just talking the talk, but we're actually walking the walk. Yeah.
NVIDIA CXAI is on the high. Yeah, chips are kind of moving around. They were just near their highs.
Oil curves. Can you talk to us about what that means to you geopolitically?
Yeah, CXAI.
Oil market. We saw crude go above $90 a barrel today. And then separately, does that up the ante for meeting with the Saudis at fora like the G20, where you want to do big things with PMs, as you mentioned?
So on the first question, I'll leave it to others to speak to the specific oil market impacts. I would point out that what was announced today was a continuation of an existing policy, not a new set of cuts, just a continuation of those cuts for 3 months as opposed to for 1 month. So as far as I'm concerned, the most important thing that the president is focused on is just trying to do everything within his toolkit to be able to get lower prices
UAL's
for consumers
bouncing.
that
news is getting confirmed.
It's really the price of a gallon of gas for the American consumer, not the
CXAI is just up. But remember, that was like one of those earlier hype AI plays.
Here or there that is going to be his ultimate metric for whether we're succeeding or not. Secondly, as I said before, we don't currently have bilateral meetings scheduled at the G20 to announce with any leaders. I don't think that the announcement today is going to move us one way or another in terms of engaging with leaders at the G20. So, we'll make our decisions on that on the basis of a far broader set of considerations than any one policy.
Does it change the calculation at all, though, for communications in the future with the Saudis? I mean, does it make it more pressing to engage with them on this issue?
We have, obviously, regular engagement with the Saudis at multiple levels with their energy minister, with their leadership, and that will continue. And we will make sure that they understand where we stand, and we will come to understand where they stand as well. And the thing that we ultimately stand for is a stable, effective supply of energy to the global markets so that we can, in fact, deliver relief to consumers at the pump, and also that we do this in a way that is consistent with the energy transition over time.
One quick one on China. My Bloomberg colleagues reported that Huawei has reached a breakthrough with its new smartphone that shows it's using the most advanced chips produced by Chinese chip maker SMIC. I'm wondering how concerned you are about this development, and does it prove that the U.S. export controls are failing or that they're violating those export controls?
I'm going to withhold comment on the particular chip in question until we get more information about.
That's a very good question.
Precisely its character.
So they did this thing over the weekend. They opened up a Huawei phone.
From my perspective, though, what it tells us
the most advanced shit
is that the United States should continue on its course of a small
yard. He's not commenting
yet.
You might get an update on that.
Restrictions focused narrowly on national security concerns, not on the broader question of commercial decoupling. That is where our emphasis has been. That's where it's going to continue, sort of regardless of the outcome. But in terms of characterizing the chip in question, that's something that we need to gain more information from before we make any definitive comments on it.
Yeah. Do you see the tension between India and China affecting cooperation, especially with the climate issue in the summit?
DMTK on the low looks like a dead stock. Dermtech.
And second, if you allow
couple of random small caps on the low, but SPY's creeping up. Squares on the high, Palo Alto's on the high. Let's check energy. They calm down a little bit.
And maybe a serious steps towards normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia, and will the president meet with the crown prince on this summit? Thank you.
I think I've answered your last question. With respect to Secretary Blinken's calls, I wouldn't describe them as run-of-the-mill or routine. He speaks with these leaders occasionally, but not every month. But it also does not portend any imminent breakthrough or action with respect to the question of normalization. It's an important moment for a check-in at a high level, and Secretary Blinken is well poised to do that given his relationships with both men and the central role that he is playing in efforts to explore whether, in fact, a broader normalization is possible. But beyond that, I won't characterize the call. As far as the question of tensions between India and China affecting the summit, really, that's up to China. If China wants to come in and play the role of spoiler, of course, that option is available to them.
Is UAL recovered?
Chair, India.
So this is right when we had the news there. It came back up. This was the stoppage. This was announced the unstop.
Will do is encourage them to come in a constructive way on
restoration's been going all day.
On multilateral development bank reform, on debt relief, on technology.
I think today's just day after holiday. Again, tomorrow ISM will cause the reaction, but also the bonds and currency that unwind dollar strong bond yields back up again. It's not really looking too pretty, but all on the data. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Get your White House break here. It's still very early. It's about to be 11.
How is the U.S.
5 minutes.
analyzing this? The second question is, Russia Defense Minister Shoigu said that the North Korea-Russia maritime joint military exercises
These captions are butchering
possible.
it.
How are you concerned about this?
We're staying in close consultation with both South Korea and Japan on the question of North Korea's advancing nuclear and missile capabilities. I don't have a specific comment on their most recent characterization. They're prone to making a lot of statements of a lot of different flavors. We're just studying each of their individual tests and making determinations about their capabilities accordingly. And then we're responding to that through increasingly tight and interconnected trilateral cooperation, as most recently evidenced in the President's summit with President Yoon and Prime Minister Kishida at Camp David. And then with respect to the comments by Shoigu on the military exercises, as far as I'm concerned, Russia looking to do more military exercises with North Korea, that's their business if they should choose to do so. I think if you look at the broader pattern of activity across the Indo-Pacific, the security cooperation, on the high, the exercises, the work together on trying to ensure a secure, open,
Yelp has been on the high ticker a couple times,
what the United States has done with a broad network of allies and partners, I believe, has enhanced the stability and security of that region. And the year 2023 has been a year of substantial progress in that regard, delivered by President Biden, from our relationship with India to Southeast Asia to Australia to the Pacific Islands, and then, of course, to Korea and Japan. So we're quite hopeful about the progress we have made in enhancing our own deterrent capability, our own security and prosperity, and we'll let other countries and the relationships they're developing speak for themselves. Yeah.
Thanks. Brett McGurk is in Riyadh, and so are Palestinian negotiators. Can you update us at all on Saudi-Israel-U.S. diplomacy talks? And then I have a quick follow-up.
So Brett's trip this time is focused on a set of broader regional issues. One of the main things that has brought him there, along with Barbara Leaf, the Assistant Secretary of State of Near East Affairs, and Tim Lenderking, our Special Envoy for Yemen, is to talk about the war in Yemen. We are entering either our 17th or 18th month of a truce, the longest period of peace in Yemen in years, which has been delivered in part through painstaking U.S. diplomacy. We not only want to keep that going, we want to deepen it and get to a permanent peace in Yemen, and that's one of the main reasons that Brett is there. He'll also be meeting with the Crown Prince of Bahrain in advance of his trip here next week. And then, of course, he will speak to the Palestinians about the whole range of issues relative to the Israeli-Palestinian file. Normalization will be one of the topics on the agenda, but it's not the main thrust of this trip. And like I said before, with respect to the phone call Secretary Blinken made today, we don't expect any imminent announcements of breakthroughs in the period ahead.
Does the administration support Palestinians' public demand, though, that they'll accept nothing less than statehood?
I'm not going to negotiate from the podium on the question of normalization, how the various pieces fit together. Yeah.
Jake, it seems like every administration, when it gets into office, complains about the problems it inherits from the previous administration. But how do you defend this administration's role with issues like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran? It seems like in all of those
honestly,
cases,
I don't know who this
relationship is worse.
I've seen him. I thought it was Jake Tapper, but it's not Jake Tapper.
First of all, Russia decided
like
to
CNN
launch a massive land war in Ukraine. The United States has mobilized not just the West, but a coalition of dozens of countries. And
I don't know. His name's Jake. I don't know where Jake came from. I've seen him before. He speaks nice. He's killing game, honestly.
If you look at the U.S. leadership in that regard, we have stopped Russia from being able to take over a sovereign state. We have ensured that Ukraine will continue as a viable, free, sovereign democracy out into the future. In the support we have given to the brave and courageous Ukrainians out there on the front lines. I think the story of how the U.S. has stood up to Russia and galvanized the world to do so is a significant achievement of President Biden and one that we expect to continue. With respect to China, I'm not sure I'd agree with your characterization of the previous administration.
My
but
mom
I'm not
wants to play
interested in
pickleball.
comparisons. We're taking our own approach
I'll tell you about it after
which is
this.
to ensure that we compete intensively to put the United States in the strongest position possible.
Us in the strongest place.
While at the same time managing that competition so that it doesn't tip over into conflict. We believe we are managing the competition effectively. And from the question of what we inherited to where we are today, if you look at the U.S. economy,
it's 1 minute,
and you look at
30 seconds
China's
shy
economy,
of the next hour,
if you
2
look
hours
at the
left.
U.S.'s alliances and the strength that we have built up in the Indo-Pacific and beyond, we feel very good about the strategic position of the United States in terms of the unfolding competition. With respect to Iran, I would just point out that under the administration before the previous guy, Iran's nuclear program was in a box. The last guy let it out of the box. We are now trying to manage the results of that decision, and we are doing so while deterring Iran from going for a nuclear weapon. We have thus far been able to do that. It's something we remain vigilant about every day. And finally, with respect to North Korea, the previous administration believed that if it simply engaged in summit-level diplomacy, it could end North Korea's missile and nuclear program.
This looks like
By the time we took office, North Korea's missile and nuclear programs had accelerated dramatically. The most important breakthrough we had seen from them, the first test of an intercontinental ballistic missile, that didn't happen on Joe Biden's watch. That happened before he came to office. So we are dealing with the inheritance, not just of the last administration, but multiple administrations on North Korea. And we are doing so in a way where we have drawn more closely together the U.S., Japan, and Korea in a historic summit that has strengthened our capacity to deter and defend the interests of the United States and our allies and partners going forward. So if you look at the overall position of the United States as it relates to those four countries, as it relates to our broader alliances and partnerships, and as it relates to the underlying sources of national strength, our manufacturing, our infrastructure, our technology, all of this, we believe we will leave better than we found it by the time President Biden exits this office. Yeah.
Thanks, Jake. I wanted to return to the Ukraine supplemental, and you said that you believe that you'll be able to secure the necessary funding. I was hoping you could talk a little bit about why you believe that and whether it's getting harder to get those supplementals through Congress, and also why the administration doesn't do more to sell the American public on the need for those.
We'll give it one more question.
On the first question,
our
view is that the strong bipartisan support in both the House and the Senate has been on evidence, has been on display, not just in the past votes.
That's how you guys fall back in time.
But in the current public statements of critical members of both parties in really important positions in the Senate, as well as key chairs of committees in the House. And so we believe that there is still, while there are some dissonant voices, a strong core on a bipartisan basis of support for ensuring that we continue to provide Ukraine with the support that it needs, because it's fundamentally in America's national interest to do so. And with the question of, quote unquote, selling it, the president has made clear repeatedly since this conflict began what the stakes are for the American people. That letting Russia run roughshod over Ukraine would put Europe at risk, and we know what happens when a marauding, aggressive, hostile power places the continent of Europe in military risk. It comes at much greater cost, not just in American treasure, but in American lives later. And so let's make the investments now to ensure we uphold the fundamental rules of the international order. The president has made that case repeatedly. We believe if you actually look at where public attitudes are, that they have been surprisingly resilient despite the constant assertion that the bottom is going to fall out from underneath them. And similarly, we believe support will hold up in the Congress for us to be able to continue to provide Ukraine with the support that it needs. But we don't take that for granted. That's something we need to go work at every day, consult with members, ensure we're answering their questions, ensure accountability for every dollar that's spent, ensure that our allies and partners are stepping up and doing the burden sharing so that they're carrying their fair share of the load. We're doing all of those things too. And I think in a dynamic discussion with the Congress, we believe that we can secure a good funding package when all is said and done.
I feel like support is still steady rather than eroding in terms of monetary support for Ukraine.
What I will say is we believe that there is still a strong base of bipartisan support in the Congress to pass a material package that Ukraine needs
starting to climb up
to be able
and
to
then crowd.
Not
That's
just
another
sustain its gains on the
cybersecurity stock
battlefield,
at the
but
high.
also to ensure that those gains can be consolidated and not rolled back as we go forward.
The NASDAQ is barely hanging on. It's 0.04 now, but broadly speaking, it's because higher interest has not really hit some of these tech names. Again, interest expense, corporate interest expense percentages have not increased. But then again, higher for longer. We'll see if they last for longer.
Has any actual interest in Democratic elections?
Look, I'm not going to speak to promises, pledges, hopes for the
marketing,
future.
Signature
the administration's
Bank's
position has been clear and consistent
portfolio.
for a long time. We're prepared to engage in discussions about specific sanctions relief in return for concrete steps that lead us towards
maybe that's
a
why
free
yields
and
have been
fair
going up.
election. So our measurement is not about promises. It's
check
not
regionals
about
too, though. But
what we may get on the come. It is
those
about
little reds
getting
still turning
clear,
green right below
concrete
VWAP right now.
benchmarks and steps
Regionals
along
are almost
the way.
down
And I'm not
2%
gonna
on the day.
characterize any current diplomatic discussions in that regard, just to state that that is our North Star. We're going to judge by actions, not by words, and that's how we approach our sanctions relief policy, not just with respect to Venezuela, but other countries as well. Yeah.
Just on Haiti quickly, with the General Assembly coming up at the UN, what kind of priority of it is it? Pardon me. For the administration to pass a resolution through the Security Council that would operationalize a multilateral force in Haiti, and what kind of force do you want to see? Do you want it to have the ability to actually go out front into the streets in Haiti and actually secure, key ports and bridges and stuff?
What we're looking to do is to support a multinational force that is fundamentally a policing support mission, not a military mission, and one that is in support of the Haitian National Police, not taking over the sovereign policing capacities from the Haitian National Police. In terms of the precise operational elements of that, how they will operate physically in Port-au-Prince and other parts of Haiti, I'm going to defer that question because the experts are engaging to work out what an operational plan would look like. In terms of New York, it is certainly our priority to get the necessary backing that we feel we need to build for a multinational force and to get the resources necessary. And we've said that we're willing to put forward a substantial investment to do that, and we're asking other countries to do the same. Last question.
Last question.
Given that you said bolstering the World Bank is not about countering China, in this country, credit card delinquencies have spiked, mortgage rates are through the roof, inflation remains a problem. Meanwhile, the federal deficit this year has almost tripled, and the president wants to increase funding to foreign nations through the World Bank. How is that fair to citizen in, say, Scranton?
Look, I think citizens in Scranton recognize that problems that happen overseas don't stay overseas. They come here, too, at great cost to working people. COVID came here from overseas. When there's massive debt or instability or conflict elsewhere, it has a drag on the global economy, and America is part of the global economy. So our perspective is that for a modest investment from the point of view of the overall size of the U.S. budget to put into ensuring greater stability, greater prosperity, greater capacity in the rest of the world, that is going to end up reducing the costs and burdens on working people in Scranton or Minneapolis or any of your all's hometowns. And frankly, that's not some novel idea. That has been a bipartisan commitment of the United States for decades. And even the last administration, the biggest skeptic of all of this, made investments in foreign aid because those investments are in the naked self-interest of the United States as well as being the right thing to do. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Jake.
Thank you, Jake. What's Jake's name?
Thank you, Jake.
What's his full name?
I just have two things,
Okay.
and then we have a few minutes to take a couple more.
Okay, you guys
questions.
want Corinne? I
First
could
one,
wrap it
I
up
actually
here.
don't see her in here.
I'll
It's
listen.
April
I'll give
Ryan's
Corinne
birthday.
one,
I
and
thought
for
she
the
was going to
sake
be here.
of
She's not here.
giving
Happy
Corinne a
21st
question or
birthday, April. And then the second thing is I want to say congratulations here to Kristen
Jake
Welker
Sullivan.
on her last day.
There
We
it
were
is.
talking earlier, and you
Sully.
said you have covered the White House for about a decade.
Wow.
Which makes you, 30 years old? 30. That's great. So, in all seriousness, we will miss you. And
Google's popping here.
We are incredibly.
Oh shit! I
thrilled
forgot
and
we're still in the
excited
meta.
for your new adventure.
Google's
in
kind of popping big at the highs.
In a different Washington institution, if you will. And so we will be watching. Please keep in touch, and of course, book our people, as you know. But seriously, in all seriously, this is just for me personally.
Google's still
it
running
is,
here.
it
Check
is,
news.
It's been a joy working with you,
Hey, Sue says
and I
he
am
sees
so
nothing
thrilled
there.
to have you.
We've seen a lot of these random moves so far
In this
today.
new role that is going to, I think, little girls and boys are going to watch you and hopefully be inspired.
I see them
by everything
mention
that you do every
that
Sunday.
Google may have a
So, as they
shorts
have
problem
been
on
this past
YouTube.
10 years. So
I
thank
see
you.
something about charter and they're mentioned.
Cover this administration the White House for the past decade. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all of my incredible colleagues.
All right, Kristen, go forward.
They're saying the Disney Plus thing could benefit them, but I don't think that's it.
Oh my gosh. Jane, happy birthday. Oh, all right, Mr. Scheer. Happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
You guys hear that?
Yeah, I know April needs birthday.
Not to talk about news, everybody, but
it is news.
Okay, the COVID protocols for the president. Is he going to test every day before he gets on the plane? Does he have to mask when he's in India? I think there are not.
Some CI.
I think the protocols for the G20 are that they're really
moving
so I wonder
a little bit.
Sort of what's going to
happen. Watch Broadcom too, considering their earnings. We were talking about
so
that.
What I can tell you is that the president certainly is going to test on a regular cadence determined by his physician. Of course, all travelers, including the president, will test before traveling to India. So that is certainly something that the president will do.
I bought Bill on the small account. Yeah, any available cash I put into Bill.
The CDC is following CDC guidelines. The CDC does not recommend.
And then SPY's still kind of working its way down. We're near the 4,400.
Again, we're going to follow
4,500.
the CDC guidelines. They recommend a combination of things. As I mentioned at the top, which is masking, testing, and monitoring for symptoms. He has no symptoms, so we're going to continue to follow those guidelines. He's going to have those close consultation with his physician, and that's all I can share at this time.
Can you be more specific on what a regular cadence?
111 on
regular cadence is up to really in consultation with his physician. I can tell you right now, as I said, all travelers are certainly going to test right before they head out to India, and that's including the president. So that is something that's happening in we're leaving on Thursday. So there you go.
Just a couple more logistical COVID questions. Are these PCR tests that the president's getting?
That is something that the physician decides on. I just don't have that information.
And just reiterate again to us, what is the current COVID protocol for anyone meeting with the president? Senior staff, those who meet with him every day, brief him. Are you all still tested?
So anytime we're around any of the principals, we do test. That has been the way we have moved forward for the past almost 2 years here. So that has not changed. No White House protocol is going to be changing, as I said at the top. But when we do have close engagement with the president, his senior staff, and as you all know, or anyone, we do test.
And just a broader COVID question. We recently did an interview with Dr. Deborah Birx, and she said that American leaders are living in a fantasy world amid this latest COVID surge. She said that next month's vaccine booster is coming way too late. What's your response to that assessment, which she shares with some other experts as well? I mean, are you confident that you are as prepared as you can be and that this booster is going to work?
Well, look, we know that we have made historic progress in this nation in this ability to manage COVID, right? In a way that's no longer
AMD's still
meaningful
going.
and disruptive.
And INTA.
Lives, right? And that is because of the work that this president has done, of the work that this administration
good for them. I think like 112.15.
And we actually believe we are in a better place than we have ever been to deal with COVID. And that's because we have tools in our tool belt, right? We have we're going to have those mid-September vaccines, which is going to be incredibly important. We have these home at home tests, which is absolutely important. We have these treatments that we know are effective, so that we can reduce severe illness, we can reduce hospitalization, and we can reduce death. So look, we listen to the experts, the scientists. That's what we do here, and we're going to be continuously working with them, certainly in coordination. CDC and FDA announced these midterm. Why I keep saying that? These mid-September, yowzer! These mid-September. It passed. Yeah, it passed. So I'm safe. Anyway, so these mid-September vaccines, which are going to be incredibly, we believe, important. If it's also done, let's not forget, the flu vaccine and also the RSV vaccine. All of those things are important, and this is something that the president had made sure that that is available. We feel, again, we are in a very good position to deal with COVID-19 in the fall, and we're going to continue to listen to the experts as we move forward.
And just one more. Jake noted, obviously you have some experience on attending summits virtually if need be, but when you look ahead to what the next week looks like and could look like, are you actually thinking logistically through this? Should the president, were he to test positive, halfway there? Or
I'm just not going to get ahead of that. What I can say right now is that we do not have any changes to any updates or changes to his travel. The president tested negative yesterday. He tested negative this morning, and he has no symptoms. He's feeling good. You're all going to see him in about an hour and see for yourselves. Of course, he's going to be very cautious.
Come on, stay away 17, 6, 4, 5 feet from me right now.
CDC guidelines.
That's fine. You'll wake it up. You'll walk it off in the morning.
That's how
it's
we're
fine. You gotta get booster on booster on booster. I told you that already. Come on.
Just repeat
Stop playing
what
around.
My colleague Jake said.
Oh wow, Boeing Aviation Group finalized order for 13 737 MAX jets.
We don't have any updates.
That's coming out now.
In any schedule.
I'll see you in a little. Give me 1 hour. I'll be on right there.
On COVID, just to follow on that, the president did have a bit of a cough yesterday during his speech.
Fine.
I'm just wondering if he had any other symptoms or if there's any concern.
It's fine. Only symptom I have is your bullshit. It's giving me a sneeze.
That's related.
It's giving me allergies. All this bullshit from the media
to this.
makes me sneeze a lot. That's the only symptom I have.
Vaccines, and I'm just wondering because there is this.
Sorry, come on, stupid question. You ready for this shit about this? I'm going to dominate 2025, 24 in the year for the election. That's how I'm in the game.
No, totally understand the question.
That is square. Boom.
The experts feel that
can't block me. I'll block you.
Listen to the experts, CDC, FDA. They got to go through their process in getting these vaccines done and ready to go. That's going to be mid-September. We're September? I don't know, 5th. What is it? Right. So we're not far from that, from mid-September, and we're going to do our job as we do every time when it comes to new vaccine or any of the tools that are out there. We're going to make sure that we encourage Americans to get those vaccines. We know that these vaccines work, right? We know when people stay up to date with their vaccine, that works. And so that's where I'll certainly leave that. But look, we've experienced increases in COVID-19 during the last 3 summers, so it's not surprising that we're seeing an uptick in this long period, right? It's been a long period of declining rates. So this is not surprising. But again, we're going to make sure that when these mid-September vaccines are available,
y'all got Wendy's vaccines?
Let folks know and give them the information
that's a game
that they need.
They got a Baconator, mRNA,
vaccine and also RSV shots. All 3 are going to be key and critical.
Y'all heard that? I said, wait a minute.
Go ahead, Joey.
That's a game. I didn't hear about that.
Positive for COVID in the coming days. We can assume he's not going to travel to India.
I'm just not going to get into hypotheticals. I'm really not. There's no updates to his schedule. That's where we are right now.
AMD's still ripping fastly. There's Meta now. This might be the VWAP push, but all day bonds have not played along. I mean, NASDAQ has held up.
Just a quick follow, and then I
thought I was going to end this already, but they keep throwing in multiple questions. Googly Woogly's insane, and Tesla now.
Not every day.
Back with the vengeance all day today. That is, it's just under 10,000 or 1,090 highs in the day. Plants are moving now too.
This regular cadence is going to be up to his physician, a close consultation with his physician. As I just mentioned, all travelers, including the president, is going to get tested before we go to India. We leave for India on Thursday. Today is Tuesday. I don't have anything else further to share. We just shared with you that he tested clearly last night, and today. That is up to the physician. We are going to continue to follow as well as the president CDC guidance.
On the UAW possible strike, the president said yesterday when he was asked if he was worried about it, he said, "No, I'm not worried about a strike until it happens."
SPY went above VWAP there, first time in like an hour. Hour and like 10, 15 minutes.
He must know something we don't know. Why is the president confident a strike will not happen?
I mean, as you know, Karen, as someone who's followed this president very closely for some time now, he's optimistic. He is an optimistic person, and he's going to continue to remain optimistic as these negotiations continue, and that it will result in a win-win.
Everything has an 8% dividend
believes
yield.
In collective bargaining.
Honestly, in a weird way, don't fall for it.
And that
because MO has an 8% dividend. We'll talk about it after when
an electric vehicle
KJP
future made in America with good paying union jobs. We believe this is a win-win, right? We believe this is incredibly important, and so we believe as well auto workers should get the wages and benefits they deserve. This is a president that has been very consistent and has been has said that over the last 2 years. So he's optimistic. that both sides are going to come to the table and come to an agreement, as we've seen with other situations where there was collective bargaining, where both sides came in good faith and resulted in a good outcome. And so he's going to remain optimistic. He believes again in collective bargaining, and that's what we hope to see, that both sides continue to have that conversation.
Updated on the latest on the negotiations.
So as I mentioned, I think I mentioned this, and you all know this. I think you've reported on this. Gene Sperling has played the lead on having those discussions, as well as Julie Su. So we've been having conversations, and so he's updated by Julie Su and also White House senior staffers here, including Gene, and so that's how he's staying up to date. Of course, I should. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Appreciate it. Sure.
Some more Amdizzle and Tesla.
COVID. When the boosters are available, can we expect that the president?
Even Intel's still up there, but now AMD's outperforming. AMD was down while Intel was up.
So I can't speak to a schedule,
so
but yes,
AMD's moved top to bottom like 3-4% almost.
Their updated vaccines, like all Americans who are eligible should do so.
Okay. And then on the potential government shutdown, I understand that.
Oh yeah, nobody talk about that shit.
Right now, but how does the president?
Government shutdown's in like 2 weeks. Now that I think about it, or 3 weeks.
And I've said this over and over again, and I'll continue to say this:
Okay.
there's no reason. There's no reason for Congress to shut down the government. Absolutely none. They should keep their word, and they should do their job, which is keeping the government open. And we have to. It is critical. It is important. We just heard from the National Security Advisor, right? It is important to fund these incredibly vital programs that American people need, and also our troops need.
Then you're right above VWAP though, with that little those little pops. I mean, if that fails real quick,
there
womp womp womp. No real movement in the bond, just the bomb bounce off the bottom.
Government.
Nazi's still up. Spy Dow's still down, and Russell's still a massacre.
Conversations about this in recent days. Can we expect him to? Will you read some of those out if he does?
So I can't speak to any conversations that he's had. You know, many of these conversations that the president has, we try to keep them private. I can say, and you've heard from Jake. He said that there's been extensive conversation on the supplemental, specifically to Ukraine, on both the House and the Senate side, and how we truly want to see this continue to be a bipartisan effort moving forward. And just more broadly, as you're asking me about the
U.S.
budget,
patent,
you've heard me say that OMB Director Shalonda Young has been very much involved in this conversation. Our Legislative Affairs Office has been very much engaged in those conversations, and that's going to and that's certainly going to continue, because it is crucial and it is important that we continue to fund these vital programs.
Just very quickly, finally, Kareem, there's been public reporting that he would support a short-term CR, but is that in fact the case, that he would sign a short-term CR if that came?
So look, we believe that it is going to be up to them, right, up to Congress, what they decide to do. So I'll certainly defer to them. But look, again, government should be shut down. It should be funded. These vital,
I forgot the shutdown is in like 3 weeks. Maybe that's why the bonds are tweaking out, but it shouldn't. As last, they still have a lot more money than last time, so there's no real issue.
Year is coming to an end. That Congress will need to pass a short-term continuing resolution to keep the government running. That is clear. That is where we are right now. And I think I've said this before, OMB has provided technical assistance. I talked about this last week, to ensure there are no disruptions to impact programs the American people rely on. As far as how long this should go, or I would have to refer to Congress on that specific thing. Go ahead.
Thank you, Karine. President Biden is the oldest president in U.S. history. Why does White House staff treat him like a baby?
No one treats the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, like a baby.
So there's this book that says
question.
When staff walked back what sounded like a call for regime change in Russia, the president, quote, rather than owning his failure, he fumed to friends about how he was treated like a toddler. Was John Kennedy ever babied like that?
So look, I'll say this. There's going to be always a range of books that are about every administration, as you know, that's going to have a variety of claims. That is not unusual. That happens all the time. And we're not going to litigate those here. That's something that we're not going to speak to. There is one thing that I do want to, because I think I was asked this question last week by one of your colleagues about this particular excerpt that they were referring to. And so I'll say this, we did see the excerpt, the context of the excerpt, and it seemed to be making the opposite overall point about how the value of his experience and wisdom resulted in rallying the free world against authoritarianism, which is important. We have seen this. You all have seen this. And passage of the most historic agenda in recent history in his handling of foreign policy, like rallying the world around Ukraine, as you just heard from our national security advisor, who laid out in really good questions that your colleagues asked about how the president is moving forward, about Ukraine, about kind of leading into these conversations that he's going to be having at the G20.
Why do you think it is that in a Wall Street Journal poll, 2/3 of Democrats think President Biden is too old to run again?
Look, here's what I know. Here's what I can speak to. I can speak to a president who has wisdom. I can speak to a president who has experience. I can speak to a president who has done has taken historic action and has delivered historic pieces of legislation. And that's important. When the last guy who was in this in the Oval Office talked about infrastructure week, it was a joke. And the president passed a pretty important piece of legislation in a bipartisan way because of his wisdom, because of his experience. And now we have infrastructure decade. And it doesn't stop there. It starts last week. We talked about how the president beat Big Pharma, something that elected officials and politicians have been trying to do for 33 years. And he's been able to do that. And we introduced the first tranche, the first 10 drugs that Medicare can now
again. There was that patent news.
Right? And
is that Albertsons going up and then Mu and then Z-Scaler.
Americans across the country.
All at the highs.
The gentleman that introduced the president,
Z-Scaler, a little pop
71 years old, paying $16,000 a month. $16,000 a month just to stay alive because he had cancer and diabetes. And he cannot retire because he has to pay $16,000 a month. And because of the work that this president has done, he doesn't have to do that anymore. And I'll say one last thing. I know you have a follow-up, probably about 5 more, but let me just say this one last thing, is that the interesting thing about this is that the president has done these historic pieces of legislation, whether it's the bipartisan infrastructure legislation, whether it's the American Rescue Plan, whether it's CHIPS and Science Act.
I will give her credit. We moved on from asking if the president was a baby
Republicans,
to another topic
in the
quite
House, in the Senate, that did not vote for any of these legislations that I just laid out, who go back to their state, go back to their district, and take credit for something that the president did. So this is not unusual. They did this in 2019. They did this in 2020. And they did this in 2022, and the president continues to prevail.
Okay, just one more. The president said over the long weekend that he hasn't had the occasion to go to East Palestine. I just haven't been able to break. The derailment was on February 3rd. President Biden has not had a break since February 3rd.
The president will go to East Palestine. He promised that he would, and he will. You saw him.
So he was not on a break when he was in.
That's in February, sorry.
I will say this again. The president is going to go to East Palestine, as he has said that he is committed to do. You saw him just this Saturday visit a rural area,
return phone calls
that was devastated. Some parts were devastated by Hurricane Idalia, and he was there with the First Lady. They were able to hear directly from the American people, and he was able to talk about what is it that they need. What else do they need from the federal government? So the president is going to go to East Palestine. I don't have a time or date to announce at this time, but he will go.
Thanks, Reen. Given recent events, is there any plans to alter the vice president's schedule and pivot her since she's...
I'm sorry, we're ending it there. Nothing is topping does he act like a baby. Man. So you guys, how do you feel? How do you feel on this Tuesday, Monday? You got to hear some Jake Sullivan, then some Corinne. You got to hear a little bit, Don't forget what they said, man. Don't forget what they said, man. They just said, get this. Everyone's talking about getting sick too. It's been a crazy weekend. You got a lot, man. You gotta get your boosters. So it's been wild so far. You still feeling political? Can I do it to you guys? I have one thing. I mean, like the video. It's not tinfoil. I'm just asking you to like the video because I love you. And I want you a part of today. Weight Watchers going up. Hey, yo, Ozempic. They put the O in Ozempic. Not really, but Weight Watchers popping up here right now. Yeah. Weight Watchers. I see price target earlier, but remember, we were just talking today how they're linked to the Ozempic stuff. I saw them at like $4 though when we had that news. That's why I refused to play it. At $9. They're still up a lot on the year. It's hitting voice scanners. Well, They're up 1.1. It's running off the high ticker. I don't know. Check anything else, NVS or anything else related to Ozempic or diabetes. But are you guys ready? I'm meant to drop did you like the video? I'm just asking. I don't want you to miss this. I'm just making sure you tap in and that you're here. But honestly, if you're political, you're going to hate what I'm about to say. Honestly, it's like people are going to hate what I'm about to say. I'm sorry. Okay? I love you though. It's not personal. This is strictly based off of ability of sports. So, are you sure? I don't know if you're ready, but I apologize now in advance. But I'm apologizing for you not understanding that it's not that serious. But I saw a video the other day, and it was the first thing I agreed with in a very long time. A very, very long time. And it was a video of Donald Trump hitting a golf ball. And Donald Trump was hitting a golf ball across a lake. It was like a straight shot drive. And as he was hitting this golf ball, there's people behind Donald Trump telling him that you can't even go to jail. Or he's telling you can't do that in jail. Straight smack talking him while he's doing. But then I was like, man, that is very, very impressive for a 78-year-old. And honest, that's what. And then the video was talking there was another. I saw a bunch of follow-ups, and people were saying the same thing, just at a straight ESPN level, bro. It's just that's it. It's too it's too much now. Where I'm like, man, I don't know. Is that video new or old? If it's old, it doesn't hold the same weight. But if that was new and they're talking, I was like, man, that is just impressive for an 80-year-old too. That's it. After what I've seen from 80-year-olds in the 2020 to 2024 season, I've downgraded 80-year-olds all across the board. You know what I'm saying? From Pelosi all the way down to McConnell, even Biden. That's just 80-year-olds have not performed this season. This last 4-year season's been tough. So that was good to see one of them drive a golf ball while getting shit talked. I was impressed. That was the first thing out of this whole political thing where I was like, that's a sign to me. That was very nice. I was like, all right. I was impressed by that. So Trump, you get an A+ for that. That's the first thing I've seen in a while. I was like, damn, Biden ain't doing that shit, man. We'll keep it simple. Yeah. Again, they were talking shit to him. They were saying that while he was swinging. That's why I was like, but man, I don't know, man. I want to see we literally need part of the election is we need them to do some sort kind of Mario Party. If the candidates did a bunch of mini games and we just got to see, because I'd feel more comfortable. I'm saying, who knows? What if Biden pulls out a Rubik's Cube and solves it? You think Trump gonna figure out a Rubik's Cube? Nah. Yeah, it's too different. Biden didn't even need to do that. Screw that. He's gonna try to go bankrupt on one side. It don't add up, man. But I'm just saying, in general, little mini games would be very helpful to see our candidate, Mario Party. Yeah. Mario Party for political parties. I think it worked out well. But yeah, I rest my case. Thank you for accepting my opinion. Again, maybe we'll incorporate this into the debate on Friday. Who knows? It's kind of sad when your options are Trump and Biden. I mean, the reality, and honestly, I would love to use my non-mainstream platform to highlight it. The reality is there are other candidates besides Trump and Biden, but just how things play out, how people get publicity, how a lot of it's driven by advertising and popularity. Once again, I mean, it's you're not really you're not hearing or seeing it. And then again, how it is in terms of parties and getting them up there. So, I mean, I encourage you to look. There's going to be a lot. You're going to get a lot of people in the next couple of years or the next year. It's going to be a very interesting end of 23, start of 24. But, there's more candidates out there. You just got to look. And, I mean, even the couple of Democratic ones, too. So that's on you to look into them. But then again, I mean, it's hard for the media in the world to shake the Donald Trump Biden, it's like a weird version of Rocky Yeah, come on, I can't fuck him out. Come on, I'm telling you, I'm gonna knock him out. Let me run up the stairs. I run back down. I don't even need cardio. Yeah, you're gonna need a cardio and a lawyer. I'll put you in jail after I whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't get away from that script, bro. We love it. It's too much, too many clicks. It's too good. They both they got their thing, you know? So, but there is other candidates. DBGI. That thing, I think it was at like $7 or something earlier. $10? I don't know. Digital brands. Would you rather be getting The Rock versus Kanye? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think, like, in a weird way, like, we don't, like, line people up for president in the same, unless we're, like, already in politics. But it's a little, like, I don't know. I don't think so. We're not like, yeah, man, he could act, like, let him do there. That's it. Like, that's the weird part. Most people are just career politicians. But I don't know. You guys don't like The Rock now. I think where The Rock got caught up in too much conspiracy with Hawaii. Yeah. I think that, I don't know. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. The Rock. That's why, yeah. I still like his movies, though. And then bonds might hit another low. SPY still above VWAP. Microsoft pinned. I had Novartis up. Weight Watchers were still moving. What was the other one? AMD. I hit a high. That was nice. Intelia is still doing good. BNB still 143. Yay, 2024. I don't know. I feel like we haven't, dude, Kanye, like, y'all don't, I think that's kind of weird. I'm just, where the fuck did Kanye go? Kanye literally just pissed everybody off to the point of, like, he's already, like, pissed everybody off. You know what I'm saying? And then he, like, piss everybody off, does all that stuff, and then just, that's it. I ain't seen him. And then he just disappeared. He just fell back. Mm-hmm. I tell people he did that to get rid of all the contracts he had with huge companies. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it cost them a lot, but I think Adidas is still, like, they're still selling the shit under his name. I think they still even have the right to a degree. And then what time is it? Oh, 11:30. Hour and a half left in the day. It's not that bad at all. I mean, the NASDAQ has been up now maybe half of the day. And then Dow was the leader, that flip, but it's only 1/3%. The real thing is the Russell small caps. But I think what happened today, it's actually very interesting. This is where the next couple of days, honestly, even till like September 16th, it might be a little weird because if you don't notice what happened today, the Russell's down almost 2% and NASDAQ's up. Everything else moved under a quarter. But why this happened, because think about all the announcements you had today. You had Airbnb added to the S&P 500. You had companies dropped. You had companies added to the small cap 600, 500, the Russell. You had all of these different additions, and that's why the actual action doesn't occur until like September 16th. So today, when there's news that you're getting removed, there's a big reaction on a lot of these small caps that got clapped, and then there's a positive reaction, but it's outweighing some of the ones that got removed. And on the year, like we talked about earlier, small caps have actually underperformed the S&P by like a big margin. S&P's up like 17%, and the small caps are up like 4% or something like that. So yeah, there you go. So, but other than that's a big feature of today. I think very, very important. Big expiration. Isn't that the witching? So maybe that's when you're going to get the rebalance too there. Or again, the actual changes. So like S&P doesn't physically, literally add Airbnb into there till it like happens. The ZT, I rolled over at 101.222. I went negative on it today. So I was positive on it like $2,000, and then it flipped. So now I'm down 300. So, but 101-222. Airbnb replaced, I think some bank, and then I'm forgetting the other one. Nothing a quick Google search couldn't yield. They're joining Blackstone, and Airbnb join. Who do they remove? Newell. And then there's one more. So, but Blackstone replaced somebody else. City? I mean, the banks are just like the bonds, or just like real estate and REITs too. They have risk, they have a good value, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of headwinds. If bond rates stay high, if yields go even higher, who knows what happens. But like commercial real estate, banking, lending, I mean, they're all going to have to pay pretty much. It's the bond ETF to invest in if you think rates will drop in March, when then everyone will move their money into bonds. 2-year and the 30-year. So the 2 years a lot higher, so you would get a lot more immediate response. And then the 30-year has just more leverage. You get a lot more bang for your buck, as Hugh would tell you. But 2-year and 30-year, great place to be at. Even the 10-year as well. I like the 10-year. I think you couldn't go wrong there. But the 30-year moves crazy. That's if you want gigantic swings. The 10-year moves a lot more stable than the 30-year. The 30-year is kind of like no man's land, low key. Lincoln National and Newell have been removed. Yeah, it's like one bank and then Newell. Are they materials? Or are they food? I think materials. And then they added Blackstone, which is kind of weird considering I feel like Blackstone hasn't been smooth sailing with all their real estate stuff. But even then, with the bond plays, we'll see. And somebody brought it up here earlier today, just like, again, the yen. You just even asked now. Yeah, the yen, the yuan, all of them are just crazy right now. So, I mean, it looks like something's about to happen. My plan was YCL in 6 days. I'm going to keep holding those. That's it. I think at this point, I mean, I was off by a month, but it cost a decent amount as it's fell through. I think the yen has already dropped like 6%, but I do plan on rolling over and buy. I might even start to double up or triple up, but I want to see as it reacts to 150. I mean, it's either we get a move on the yen like bonds by the end of the year or not. But the one thing about the yen, why I'm confident with that, is that no matter what, if that play is just if anything hits the fan, more or less, I'm using that play, or it's either a specific policy in Japan or whatever happens with bonds. I just think it has a lot of opportunities to. It's Frankenstein. So I do believe in the former safe haven. So I'm waiting on that one, but I'm getting crushed on it for now. But I'm planning to make the other. I remember I did the first YCL average down after almost a year. Then I grabbed the future. Then I'm down on that. Then I'm still waiting. I think the future expires in like 3 more weeks. And then we go from there. The index is not responding. I think it's something weird with the bonds, and it's day after holiday. Because at the same time, this last couple days here, bonds, I mean, we unwound the reason why we went up. So just keep in mind, this little bounce here, a big part of this was rates calming down and people not, freaking out about a hawkish Powell or anything of that nature. But and then everything that happened in August. But at the same time now, 2 days, you've unwound all of it. So you might start to get that pressure again. And then not to mention, we have one big set of data now after the holiday. And then after that, it goes crazy from there. Then it's CPI and then Powell. You have to roll it. You have to close the play out for the loss and then buy it back up and then reopen for the next time. You got a dope Jackson Hole shirt? Really? Does it say Jackson Hole? I'm telling you, I thought that one. Mosby told me that my shirt was a Jackson Hole shirt, but it wasn't. But I really thought it was because it had a mountain on it. I got kind of excited. Oh, shit, bro. That goes hard, bro. What the hell? You got like the vintage fade on it too, bro. This actually looks hard. And you got the gummy bears. Happy birthday, babe. You got some gummy bear, bro. That one goes hard. That's a solid ass shirt, bro. That's a solid ass shirt. I could get behind that. Tell whoever gave you that, thank you. Tell them it's a good gift. Even Chad says thank you. That's how good of a gift it was. You've never seen it before? The lady found it? Who found it? Was it not a birthday gift? That's it? You just found this in your house? It's crazy. The spirit of Jackson Hole arrives after Jackson Hole. No, it was a gift. Oh, okay. Oh, the lady, like, I don't know. If you said old lady, I would understand it. Like, if you were in, like, a biker gang. But, like, the lady, okay, I get it. I think. And then you were like, until the lady found it. Now I'm like, what? The first lady, the cleaning lady, who found it? Jackson Hole, INTA. There was a lot of biotech plays today. Whoa. Oh, no, never mind. 30 cents. I thought it was up $3. It's like, hold on. Net. JD came up. JD was down. Net's kind of popping here. I feel like once every hour we get a burst of things that was already up just starts popping. The SPX levels, yeah. You got a lot for now. I mean, it's 4,500 flat, then 4,493, then back down to 4,482, then 4,475. And then that whole fiasco last week on the upside is 45.13, 45.16, which was Friday's close. Then maybe like a baby level at 45.32, and then 45.41. That's on the upside. And then it goes to 4,600. I think if you break 45.40, it just starts moving up like 20 points at a time, maybe more, and then it goes straight to 46 again. Tesla's on the high, and then SPY getting some candles once again. JD, that's a China name, red to green. Am I closing Meta today? It depends how much they pay me to close it. You know? Because we were up a little bit more early on. That's why I'm seeing. But like I said, I like the news and I like where it's at. But I'm not too sure. I'd be open to it if it goes up enough. But I'm also down to swing it. VTEX. See, Rite Aid. That thing's getting murdered. Has it been murdered all day? Yeah, 3%. They just got a red candle. No news. There's Procter. Where's what's it called? CVS. And the other ones. Yeah. My weekend was great. Actually, I had a great weekend. Weight Watchers again. We have that on the high. I did go to the spa, bro. It was chill. Like, I could not complain. Like, honestly, my weekend worked out perfectly, bro. Like, it worked out very great. Like, it was a blessing. I'm glad Friday we had a lot of fun, but at the same time, too, I hope you guys got your little mini vacation. Even though we hung out for a decent amount of time, But it worked out very good. I'm very chill. It sucked that people got sick over the weekend. But besides that, I mean, I was chill. Even my girlfriend, she got sick and she loved it. It was very, very relaxing. Tesla news, I don't know. The levels on the 2-year, I have one on the 10-year. It's every quarter point. So, like, low key, it's the same ways. Like, I still have levels on the ZN, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right here. So these are all, and again, these are all the strategic points. We're going to get above here. Once it died from here, that's where it all started to go to shit. But let me see. You just got to go to the 2-year bond and then correlate it with the futures level. Well, like, usually the bonds, they move at these quarter point increments. So that's why, like we said, 5. Remember at 4.75, this is where we made the play because it was either going to reject that 4.75 or go straight through to 5. So it's pretty much every like quarter point at a time. But now really 4.5, this will probably be like the bigger breaking point up and down because if it either hits there, it'll either bounce off heavy or fall below. And then back down to 4.25, but then really like 4.0 down to like 3.75. Those are the main ranges. And then we get back to the October levels, but that's for another day. So really like wherever 4.75 is, and then 4.5, and then 4.0. So pretty much 4.0 to 4.5 means just straight shot. Is NASDAQ up because of Tesla? Maybe. We went over it there was a lot of red names today, but I could get you a breakdown. NASDAQ 100, believe it or not, 56 names red and 45 names green. Percentage-wise, Airbnb is a bigger percentage on the NASDAQ 100, but then Tesla is the next big one, and then Zoom, Netflix, CrowdStrike, Zscaler, AMD, those are all on the NASDAQ as well, too. So, and then Moderna is on the NASDAQ, they're down. Walgreens is on the NASDAQ 100, they're actually demolished. So, yeah. And then Dow Jones, you have 19 names red, 11 names green. Intel's the best on the Dow. And then SPY, 377 names red, and then 125 green. So Tesla is the strongest on the SPY. You know why? Because Airbnb is not on the S&P. That's what I was saying earlier. So they don't get included till the 16th. 10-year at 4.26. So yeah, so if that goes below 4.25, we have a problem. If it goes higher than 4.25, might just go up to 4.5. Home builders, I think it's because of rates. I think all of the interest rates, again, you're going to get mortgage data tomorrow. And I mean, last time I told you, I got a quote from somebody trying to get a loan. It was 8.3. So that could be it. But other than that, I think just kind of some of this rebalance and then the ads and removals causing all of this today. Weight Watchers still going, man. 3.8 since that news. JD still climbing up. Sound back to red. Remember, they had news earlier. Microsoft starting to tick up. You got out of the ZT now, the short, and then you're going to long back to bear steepener. Yeah, I'm still in the 30-year steepener. I need to switch to the 10-year, but now 2-year went negative again, and then I'm still negative on the 30-year. But whenever that goes positive, I'm going to probably close it out. But I kind of like the long end. It sucks when it goes against you, but like the ZB moves fucking crazy. I don't know. But I like it overall. Bonds and yens, all the friends. 10-year keeps going up, we clap. Maybe on the market, I mean, the market has shown a lot of resilience, but I do think if the 2-year goes a little higher, then we're really screwed. But at the same time, it's one thing about the bonds now, but like there's a lot of currencies. It's the dollar. I said it this morning. I usually don't talk about it, but the dollar's getting ready to tick up into aggressiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like the dollar is at the point where it could get very bad. It's starting to get strong. So now with all the other currencies, the Chinese yuan, all that, that's where we have to start thinking about it. The yen is free. I think it just wants to hit 150, and then the question, does it hit that and come down, or does it break out? And that, I mean, Japan's been borderline pretty quiet since all of that has happened. The dollar, I mean, the yuan and then the yen and other currencies really, really getting smashed here. Even the euro and I mean, that's another part of the situation. Where's good old EW? Should we go for it again? I didn't even think about that. Yeah, like low key, bro. You know, like Germany's getting clapped again. Ironically enough, I think this is around the same price. It's actually a little lower from when we wanted to make that play last year with like EWG, bro. So low key, Germany, Europe, you know, some of that, like their economy and the data coming out, it's not looking good. And then they're still raising rates. So again, it's having pain on the pound and the euro. That's another reason why the dollar has been doing what it's been doing here in the last month and even on the short term. Oil, I think oil is ready to go crazy. However, I'm holding whatever I have, even down to old shitty UNG. But like again, I'm still in it. But to the logic is my original set of eyes would tell me that oil is about to go ape shit, especially if real estate and everything else goes ape shit. However, I don't know if oil can withstand the forces of like Captain America and like whatever price cuts, gouging, whatever you want to call it, in between happens. That's the issue. I got big news. The newest member of the chat was born last Monday. Our baby girl, Hadley. Biggest blessing I could ask for. What a beautiful name, Hadley. I love it. Oh, congratulations, Dan. Oh, my goodness. Oh, nah. I feel like you've been with us way longer than 12 months, too, man. That's exciting. Congratulations. Start her up a long term, baby. Let's go. It's a blessing. CXAI again. Hadley. I like it. It's a beautiful name. Beautiful name. Hit that long term. Amen. And another Chad was born. So I'm talking about. The peach. Yes, we had the peach earlier. It was glorious, gracious, magnificent. I've been here since 2019. That's what I was saying, man. Yeah, I was saying I've seen that name for way longer than 12 months, baby. Congratulations, man. That's an honor. It's crazy. That's why I'm like, man, some people I've seen for years on here, and I'm just like, bro, you guys are becoming parents, and it's amazing. I don't know if you already had a kid or not. That's why I was freaking out with young Buffett on Friday. Congrats again, young Buffett, and now baby Buffett, and now baby Sir Necky on the way, baby. Is gonna be beautiful. I love it. Bro, Hadley. But yes, so great talks, great economy. Yeah, so watch out. Euro recession, dollar affecting it. We got a new Chad born. It's a glorious day. Dollar or yen affect our bonds. There's a carry trade. And again, depending on the price of the yen or the dollar and the yield in America or Japan, it incentivizes people to move money in or out of America or Japan. That's essentially the logic there. So you don't got to know all of the levels there. You know, it's a very complex trade, but generally speaking, you know, if yields become more attractive in Japan, you know, people would want to repatriate money, take it out of America and bring the money back to Japan. And then vice versa, if rates in America go higher and Japan is lower, why would you keep your money in Japan? If you could take that money and move it to Japan and America from Japan, that's what you'd ideally do. That's what investors do. Now, there's a cost of that trade, though. So depending on the value of the currency, they call it the cost of insurance, essentially. It's like, theoretically, this trade makes a lot of sense, but going back and forth, you don't necessarily, you know, if the currency values, if the yen or dollar is up or down too much, it may make it a better or worse trade to go about. So that's why, but generally speaking, yields go higher or lower, then you could talk about repatriation. And that's where things get either good or bad for either country. So it could benefit Japan, it could hurt America, or it could help America hurt Japan. Oh shit! Hold on, dude. Tesla. I'll talk about it. I've been saying it all day, man. I've been like, man, it keeps doing these 4 or 5% days. There hasn't been a shortage of news, but there's also like a lot of carryover and follow through from whatever. But there was also auto numbers today. You had the Model 3 price cuts in a new version just on Friday, and there's another one too. There's another piece of news. I keep blanking on it, but overall, it has been doing this like every other day. I got the joy that in my heart. Hey, that in my heart today. Want, W-A-N-T on the high. AMD keeps going up there, and then there's Tessie, SPY trying to climb. So today would be, bro, I'm telling you, today, if it wasn't about all the small cap ups and downs, SPY would be green. If the SPY got to include Airbnb up 8% today, I'm pretty sure. Then again, all the other names, there's a lot of movers here. It is power hour. Indeed, 1 minute in. Welcome. And then SPY with a nice little chicle. And maybe watch Energy too. I think Energy financials, they've had a pretty big bearing on the day. 4507. I feel like every time I've looked at the chart, I've had a weird 405, 4507 deja vu. Airbnb is getting added to the S&P 500. So that's it. That's a big deal. That's why. But they're up 8%. However, it is not included in the S&P 500 today. So does that make sense? That's why the NASDAQ 100 is green, because a lot of these names that got hooked up today by getting upgraded to another index, they're up today, but they don't necessarily weigh on their index till 2 weeks from now. So and that's why Airbnb, it's contributing to the NASDAQ, but not the S&P today. But that's the only reason why it's up. If anything, there was bad news out of New York, but it's kind of old news in the sense it's been talked about a lot. I mean, it's not like it's like super duper new, but essentially they're like banning like some more Airbnbs in New York, but Airbnb's up 8% off of being added to the, what's it called? For being added to the S&P 500. Mm-hmm. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Order canceled.
What's this? Oh, I didn't see that. Palantir is the next to be added. They do like every quarter, every 2 quarters, but I mean, I'm proud of Airbnb. It's a big accomplishment. So this whole time you were buying it, man, it wasn't an S&P company, but now it is. Now you have an S&P 500 name, one of our favorites. Very, very good guy, man. Very, very good guy. They've came so far, I know. You're a father now, too. That's why you know. You're going to see. It's crazy. There are only 2 people who are bullish for September. I don't know. I gave you the fun facts this morning, though. Like I'm saying, man, there's a lot of the September has dropped, but at the same time, 2014 to 2017. That 3-year period was 3 Septembers in a row of green. So it kind of fits the environment. Everybody, I think, around then thought it was going to be bearish. Even September 2015 was green, which is amazing if you think about it. But then it was after August, the flash crash. So although there's a lot of historical averages, I mean, it's not like we are, I don't know, like September, like we straight up, we don't know. Like it's not, I don't think we're doomed to, like August or July, I think was like positive seasonality. I didn't really fight, but then again, I don't know if we're doomed to eternity because of all of this. Another month, another 10%, baby. Amen. We stuck ours in a bill today. So I don't know, man. I don't put out a stream alert for bill. Save us all the time and effort. But automatically, all deposits go into bill. So while we're waiting, again, everything still pays out, and it's all good. Nepal lately? A couple days ago, yeah, I think we saw him in the chat, and they sent me one of those pictures not too long ago. I'm extremely bullish. You have been. I respect your consistency. But yeah, you have been. Airbnb trending stock today, big buzz in public relations. Yeah, because now they're S&P company. So, I mean, some other funds can start picking them up. But just in general, though, I mean, it's a little accomplishment. It means they're up there. They're getting included into how the S&P views the economy. They made it. That's good to say. That's good to know we bought it before it was a S&P 500, and hopefully it grows, and hopefully it becomes a leader on the S&P, you know? Wall Street started. Maybe that's what they needed. I don't know. Maybe they needed the S&P edition for Wall Street to stop shitting on them. So now you can include it in your funds. But that's crazy. I mean, it's good. There's big volume on the announcement today, but this isn't. Again, we'll see what happens on the 16th. But it's still like both high and low. It's still like just holding IPO price, premium IPO price. JD's still going up. They removed Lincoln Financial, I believe, and Newell Brands. S&P, BNB, S&P and B? Yalla. S&P and B, Habibi. You rented and then they left, they checked out early and you got paid still? Yeah. Just wait till they like poop on your carpet. But yeah, I still like Airbnb. No one's pooped on my carpet recently, but when I first started out, you know, it's definitely a learning process. But it's fine. Just tell them, if you put no pooping on the carpet, they won't do it. Did anybody stay at a hotel this weekend? Did anybody go to a hotel for Labor Day weekend? How much was Wi-Fi and how much was water? And then how much was it to park your car? I think it's a good question here for today on S&P Day. Yeah, a lot. 20 for Wi-Fi, 20 for there, 23 bucks for valet, 90 bucks, 50 a day for Hilton. Why, are you guys going to make a TikTok about it? You guys
Order
know
submitted.
that y'all should make a TikTok. You didn't use the Wi-Fi, free parking, and didn't drink water. The room was $340 for 2 nights. Mm-hmm.
Order
I have to stay
submitted.
in hotels because I like to poop on carpets. I understand.
Order
completely.
filled.
Holiday Inn was $400 for one night. Honestly, man, maybe Chingy was onto something this whole time. We looked down upon it, but honestly, maybe the Holiday Inn is where it's at. You email me, Luis Garcia. No Luis Garcia, sir. There's no the. Just tradingfraternity@gmail.com. And my dad hates Airbnbs because he thinks there's cameras watching him. I'm laughing because like I went to this like crazy like resort thing, and it was very like nice and relaxing, and like the people there were like extremely nice, and like for the first hour, I'm telling my girlfriend, I look when we get back to the room, I start looking for cameras in this room because I'm like, they're creepy. They're creeping me out, bro. They were all just like hella smiley, and like everything was too perfect. It was like too perfect. So like honestly, it depends on your level of paranoia, Airbnb or not. Because like I was like, nah, this is too nice. They're too nice. I'm like, I'm not trusting this, and I was like, nah. I was like turning off lights, turning on my phone, looking for cameras behind the mirrors. Like that's it. I was trying to see how fast it would take if I could Amazon like a metal detector, but I was like, nah. I looked though. Hilton down over 6% on track for largest percent decrease since June 2020. I don't know, man. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is Airbnb. That could be some solid 10, to be honest with you. Hold on. But I don't give you 10. You guys, that's it, man. You guys have to wait till the 10 comes out privately. But maybe that's it. Maybe all of the hotels are dropping because now with Airbnb and the S&P 500 after the inclusion, all of those, if there's any funds that were mandated to buy certain quality of funds, I mean, now you could swap out Airbnb for Marriott and Hilton. Because Booking and all the other ones are still up. Booking and Expedia, they're still up there. But then the actual travel plays are down. But then again, there was a lot of negative travel news over the weekend with all the other stuff. And then, Spy, you're low-key flushing right now. Hold on, a couple of candles low-key straight down back to just right above 4,500 once again. But it's picking up. Low ticker is kind of all over. What time is it? Oh, it's 45 minutes. All right. So Meta, I'm selling out of that 120. We won't hold that. I'm going to hold everything else. AMD's in the green. And I think that's it. Meta's only play. I mean, 120, just under $3 a share. Still not too bad. I'll take it. But very light. Nothing happened. Top roped them. That one got quick. And there's only 45 minutes left, though. I didn't realize it is power hour. So whatever happens now, like I told you guys all day, and from yesterday, the ISM services in the morning, the Alfa Romeo, yeah, I pulled that one up on stream. I think when you sent it to me. That was like Friday, bro. It's time for the market to show you how much it hates you. Well, wait for the bonds are already doing it. Like they're moving around a lot. Let's see what the data tomorrow does. Because if tomorrow's not like one of those bond-inducing days, then we'll see. NASDAQ just went negative. Remember, it was green most of the day. Started off red, then it went green. But like it's been a couple of hours. We were green on the NASI. Now that it's gone red. I emailed you. No, man, I didn't get it. Unless you're the guy I blocked and banned for playing that game again, which is kind of... Otherwise, tradingfraternity@gmail.com. I didn't get anything, man.